Apocalypse begins by copying Magneto, controlling the magnetic field. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. 50 don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now. Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 10,000 experience. Doesn't it seem like a lot? I haven't waited for Li Qiu's lightning and Yin Yi's baseball bat to fly. The Ghoul dogs that tried to sneak up on Chu Xiu. It was pierced through the abdomen by a silver light flying from the side. The flying knife entered its body and smashed its vital organs in an instant. You kill a D-level beast corpse dog. Experience value plus 100. If you don't pay attention when fighting, you will die. Chu Xiu's tone was stern. Controlling the magnetic force, he threw Yin Yi's baseball bat back again. Chu Xiu was a little angry. He didn't expect that these two women were still paying attention to him during the battle. In fact, Chu Xiu had already noticed the corpse dog behind him. Under the coverage of the magnetic field energy, it is almost impossible for him to be attacked. Taking a 10,000 steps back, Chu Xiu's melee combat ability is not covered. Even if he is attacked by a corpse dog, it is also a LV2 giant power. Chu Xiu's combat experience is more than Yin Yi's, not a little bit point in this case. These two stupid women still want to protect themselves. After scolding Li Qiu and Yin Yi, Chu Xiu immediately focused all his attention on the battle. He would not make such a low-level mistake. More than 20 flying knives circled around at high speed. But the corpse dogs were prepared at this time. With flying knives alone, it is hard to threaten them anymore. Realize this. Chu Xiu set his sights on the abandoned cars on the street. Really, every magnetic controller will eventually become a scene person. Chu Xiu thought about it. The huge magnetic field energy is vented out. Squeak accompanied by a harsh metallic twisting sound. Two 1-ton abandoned cars were suddenly torn apart by an invisible force. Form a long strip of metal debris. Each weighs 100 pounds. Even hundreds of pounds. Chu Xiu stretched out his hand. These wrecks are like arms and fingers, as if they are another limb that he has extended. Roar. The sudden upheaval shocked the surrounding corpse dogs. But before they could react, these long metal wrecks flew towards them. The Ghoul dog is aware of the danger. Dodge quickly, but still caught up. Once caught up, these long strips of metal wreckage wrapped around the corpse dog like a boa constrictor. In the rasping metal twist, wind up fast, getting tighter. In the process, jagged spikes also extend from the metal remains, like a saw. Quickly cut the body of the corpse dog. Ding. You kill a D-level beast corpse dog. Experience value plus 100. You kill a D-level beast corpse dog. Experience value plus 100. You kill a D-level beast corpse dog. Experience value plus 100. Accompanied by a pleasant system prompt tone. One after another, corpse dogs died under the metal wreckage controlled by Chu Xiu. Nobody is complete. All were sawn into pieces by the metal wreckage. The least is also divided into two from the torso. Roar. When only the last two corpse dogs were left. These two cunning beasts actually chose to turn around and run away. Late. Chu Xiu's eyes were cold. Two pieces of metal debris were sucked over by him. Transform quickly in midair. Extend. When it fell into Chu Xiu's hands, it had already turned into two javelins with a cold glow. There was no pause. Chu Xiu grabbed the javelin and threw it towards the two corpse dogs that were running away. Javelin cuts through the air. One of the corpse dogs sensed the danger and wanted to dodge. But it seems that it forgot that these javelins can turn. Puff, puff, accompanied by the sound of sharp knives penetrating into the flesh. Two javelins, directly from the part, penetrated the bodies of the two corpse dogs, like a string of candied haws. String it up from end to end. The whole is nailed to the ground. You kill a D-level beast corpse dog. Experience value plus 100. You kill a D-level beast corpse dog. Experience value plus 100. Hiss. Chu Xiu's last hand was a bit too cruel. Seeing how the two corpse dogs died, Yin Yi and Li Qiu couldn't help but gasp. Look at each other. There was a trace of fear in each other's eyes. Only Chu Xiu didn't change his face or heartbeat, as if he wasn't the one who made the good just now. Okay, it's safe. Chu Xiu retracted the magnetic field. In an instant, the metal suspended in the air fell to the ground. even those more than 20 flying knives. He was also abandoned by Chu Xiu because he was stained with blood. Instead, he randomly extracted a portion of high-strength steel from the A-pillar of an abandoned car. Rebuilt dozens of new flying knives. There may be zombies in the supermarket. You pay attention. Chu Xiu said casually. Chu Xiu didn't have the slightest psychological burden to ask two delicate girls to help with supplies. People, labor, just use it, okay? Li Qiuyu and Yin Yi didn't feel anything wrong either, especially Yin Yi. She is brute force, not only not resistant to moving things, but also very motivated. Qiuyu, you will be in charge of the collection later. If you move it, just leave it to me. Yin Yi rolled up her sleeves, exposed jade-like white arms immediately afterwards. I felt that it was not very ladylike, and hurriedly pulled down the sleeves again. Subsequently, the two girls walked into the supermarket together. Chu Xiu did not follow immediately, but stayed where he was, and opened his attribute panel. Check out the EXP column. Your current experience value. 902. For a short moment, the experience value is almost accumulating 1,000. Damn it, this is for me to take the initiative, to hunt down the beasts. Chu Xiu was also surprised. Before, the zombies in the entire community were cleaned up, and they were killed on the road for a long time. Only barely saved enough experience. Well, now, in less than a few minutes, the experience points are almost accumulated to 1,000. The experience value of the E-class beast wing demon is 50. The corpse dog is D level, and the experience value is 100. What if it's a higher level beast? Think of this. Chu Xiu suddenly had an idea. Seems like the 10,000 experience of upgrading the system is not difficult to save, isn't it? To know what Chu Xiu has encountered so far are only zombies and beasts. I don't know how much experience monsters have. Chu Xiu was thinking. What in the supermarket? Suddenly, Yin Yi exclaimed. Chapter 27. It's only the third day. You just indulge like this? Have you encountered a beast or a mutant zombie? Hearing Yin Yi shouting, this idea popped into Chu Xiu's mind immediately. After all, ordinary zombies would not pose a threat to them at all. Realize this. Chu Xiu quickly entered the supermarket, but as soon as he came in, Chu Xiu knew that he had made a mistake. There are no beasts or mutant zombies. Instead, opposite Yin Yi and Li Qiuyu, who were pushing the shopping cart, stood two middle-aged men with guns. Put things down. Dare to steal our supplies and seek death, right? The two humans who suddenly popped out caught Yin Yi and Li Qiuyu a little off guard. After all, it didn't take long for the ability to be acquired. The mentality has not changed, or the general mentality. Facing the dark muzzle, the two women were still a little scared, and did not dare to move. What's in the supermarket? Why do you say it's yours? And there are so many supplies here. Do you still want to monopolize it? Facing the muzzle, Yin Yi fought hard. Li Qiuyu on the side did not speak, and put a hand behind him. Seems soft and weak. He didn't even dare to say anything in rebuttal. But if you go around behind him, you can find that the palm of the hand behind her has gathered electricity. Two chicks are quite brave. Seeing that Yin Yi dared to refute, one of the men with a gun sneered. I just didn't have time to take a closer look. Only now did the man realize that the two women who stole the supplies were actually top beauties, the kind you don't usually see on TV. Hey, little girl, if you want to take our things, it's not impossible. The man's eyes looked up and down maliciously. As long as you two are good. Whoosh. The man hasn't finished speaking yet. A silver light flew towards him. But this time, Chu Xiu's flying knife was one step slower. Good boy. At the moment, when the man is rude, Yin Yi and Li Qiuyu suddenly riot. One swings a solid baseball bat weighing dozens of pounds, and the other electricity releases at the same time attacked the man who was rude. What? Just heard a scream. The man was first hit by the electric current, and then he was hit in the head by the ball that broke through the air. With the sound of watermelon cracking, the man's head exploded directly. Red and white things are scattered all over the place. The flying knife controlled by Chu Xiu, on the contrary, took a step slower and felt lonely. The Sudden scene frightened the other man next to him. Pointy, who had been silent for a while, was stunned for a few seconds before reacting. Just about to pull the trigger, the gun in his hand suddenly broke free from his palm and floated into the air. The muzzle slowly turned towards himself. Do you want to be like your mate too? Chu Xiu walked over slowly and said lightly. The man shook his head like a rattle. Kaka. Chu Xiu did not speak. The pistol hovering in front of the man suddenly opened the safety. No. I don't want to. I don't want to. The man was so frightened that he knelt on the ground and waved his hands quickly. That's right. I asked. You answered. Wouldn't that be enough? Chu Xiu saw this, moved the muzzle a little bit. You say the stuff in the supermarket is yours, which means you have been staying in the supermarket? Chu Xiu asked. He did have some doubts in his heart. Biggest doubt. That's how these two survived. There are corpse dogs outside. These two are hiding in the supermarket. It is impossible not to be found by them. How clever is the nose of a corpse dog? Chu Xiu knows it all. Yes, I have been here since the day before yesterday. Men dare not hide. There's a red dog outside, you know? Chu Xiu continued to ask. I know. As soon as we leave the supermarket, we will be eaten by that monster. But that monster won't come in. We'll be fine. As long as we stay in the supermarket, we can't go out. Go out and die. The man answered truthfully. When it comes to corpse dogs, there is an unconcealed fear in his eyes. Us, anyone else here? Chu Xiu sensed the point. After getting a positive answer from the man, take me there. Chu Xiu ordered. The man didn't dare to resist at all, so he got up quickly and walked inside the supermarket with Chu Xiu. Through the fresh area. Came to the staff rest area of the supermarket. Along the way, Chu Xiu discovered that there were not only no beasts, but even zombies in this supermarket. No wonder two ordinary people can walk around here with guns. Chu Xiu thought to himself. Soon. The man stopped in front of a closed door. Not closed yet. Chu Xiu heard some strange sound coming from the door. Ha 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 ha. I can't do it. Ha ha ha. Change you. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. I can't take it anymore. Ha ha ha. No. Ha ha ha. Not there. Ha ha ha. Listen to these voices coming from the door. Chu Xiu's expression was extremely strange. The disaster just broke out the day before yesterday. Counting today, it's only 3 days at best. You are so indulgent. Chu Xiu had a weird expression. Although I know that human nature will be wiped out after the end. But these people are dying too fast, right? It's kind of weird, huh? Behind Chu Xiu, Li and Yun's little faces had long since turned red. Can't wait to leave quickly. No, not you. Misunderstood. The man just wanted to explain. But seeing the pistol suspended in the air, he swallowed the words in fear, knocked on the door. Ha ha ha. Wait a while. It's Zio Wang. Ha ha ha. The laughter inside the door was still unbridled. But still responded. It's me. The man finished. Soon, the door slowly opened. The expected picture did not appear. Although there were more than a dozen men and women in the room, they all looked normal. Only a man in the corner was laughing wildly. Ha ha ha. I can't do it. I'll change you. The man laughed wildly. Suddenly, a jelly-like object the size of a basketball was thrown to the person next to him. Ha ha ha. It's so itchy. And the person who caught the object burst into laughter in the next second. P.S. You can guess what this little thing is, but I guess no one can guess. Pinch the waist. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. The first monster I met. Is it itchy? Ha ha ha. It's so itchy. Ha ha ha. In that man's wild laughter, Chu Xiu finally saw the whole picture of the jelly-like object. It's a gelatinous orange-yellow translucent creature. Kind of like a slime in a game. No hands or feet. Only a pair of cute big eyes. The body can change at will, and when lying on the body, 2 tentacles will grow and keep scratching. Sometimes people are directly wrapped around their bodies. Ha ha ha. It's so itchy. Ha ha ha. I Can't take it anymore. When the scratched person can't take it. The little thing also makes a giggling sound of laughter. Is this itchy? Chu Xiu recalled carefully and finally remembered the name of this thing. Itchy. A low level monster. In other words, the lowest level of monsters. Also one of the few. It can even be said to be the only neutral monster that does not actively harm humans. No wonder the corpse dogs would rather stand at the door of the supermarket than come in. Chu Xiu understands now. Why do the corpse dogs outside know that there are living people in the supermarket, but they have not barged in? They must have smelled the breath of monsters. Zombies have no intelligence and are not afraid. But there are beasts. Even the lowest level itch monster is enough to make the corpse dog feel jealous. I don't know how much experience it will take to kill this thing. Chu Xiu, who was still thinking about a similar question just now, saw the itchy monster and suddenly had an idea. But it hasn't waited for Chu Xiu to act. Li Qiuyu and Yin Yi, who were following behind him, also saw itching. What is that? So cute. At the moment of seeing the itchy monster, the two girls couldn't look away, and the beautiful eyes enlarged. Women's nature is to like soft and cute things. Itch fits both of those needs perfectly. Forget it, just keep it. This thing is more useful to keep than to kill. At the same time, Chu Xiu, who had calmed down, also dispelled the killing intent in his heart. He knew better than anyone the effect of itching. More importantly, this stuff is so rare. In the future, many people will spend hundreds of carts of supplies in exchange for one, in order to get one. However, it is still in short supply. Yi, find some clothes to wrap it up and take away. Chu Xiu's voice just fell. Before Yin Yi could respond, the survivors in the house exploded in an instant. Who are you? What do you want? Everyone stood up in unison, staring angrily at Chu Xiu and the others. To this, Chu Xiu ignored it. After giving Yin Yi a look, Yin Yi understood and took a supermarket staff uniform directly from the side. Go to tickle grass, Ming. Grabbing from TMD. Right when several young people saw this, they were directly angry. Just about to get the weapon. Next second. All the metal objects in the room were suddenly attracted by a force and flew into the air in unison. Machete, steel pipe, gun, key, screw. Even the metal accessories on some people were pulled into the air by this force. Whoever moves, whoever dies. Chu Xiu's tone was flat. The moment his voice fell. The surrounding metal objects all pointed their sharp sides at everyone in the room. Gosh, calm, everyone. Don't move, don't move. I won't move. Everyone froze all of a sudden. The young people who were just about to start were also pointed at their eyeballs by a few sharp steel needles. Too scared to breathe. This thing in your hands will only kill you, Chu Xiu said lightly. It's not really lying to them. Itchy monsters don't take the initiative to attack humans. But monsters are monsters. Ordinary people who don't understand its characteristics will only have a dead end if they are exposed to it for a long time. Just when Chu Xiu shocked the survivors, Yin Yi had already walked over to itching monster, wrapped it in clothes, and slowly hugged it. Gluck, cluck. Itchy, who was picked up, seemed very happy. Constantly giggling. Got it's so light. Yin Yi let out an exclamation. It looks like a jelly-like ticklish, obviously the size of a basketball, but surprisingly light. At most 200 or 300 grams. You took it away. What if the monsters outside broke in? Just when Yin Yi was about to take away the itchy monster in the corner, a mature woman who looked to be in her 20s gathered up her courage and stood up. Ironically, the big men in the room were too frightened to make a sound. She was the only one who stood up. The monsters outside are dead. Chu Xiu appreciates a woman's courage a little. Done. Rarely added. Also, if I were you, I would drive out of this area right away. As the time goes, more and more beasts will spread out from the city. Until then, ordinary people will surely die if they stay here. Even the itchiness doesn't help, because not all beasts are as cunning and cautious as corpse dogs. Meet the iron-headed beast, or the powerful beasts will not be fooled by itchy monsters at all. To put it bluntly, itchy monster is a scumbag who has no identity and no strength at all, real or fake. All those weird dogs out there are dead. Here, Chu Xiu's words. The woman who stood up just now did not speak. Everyone else in the room was in a mess, and everyone had a look of disbelief on their faces. Let's go. Chu Xiu doesn't care whether these people believe it or not. Seeing that Yinyi got itching, she turned and left the staff lounge, while Chu Xiu just walked on the front foot. Metal objects that lost their magnetic field fell one after another. The lounge also exploded at once. Is what that person said true or false? The monsters are really dead. Then. Can't we get out of here? I heard from the radio that someone made a shelter at Ocean Prison. It's safe. I heard it too. There isn't a single zombie over there. There is food and drink. Really? Can you take me one? Oh, I am going to you. Anyway, I'm not leaving. The things in the supermarket are enough for me to live for a long time. There was chaos in the lounge. Everyone was thinking about where they were going next. Some were going to Hushan Prison on the radio, and some chose to stay and not go anywhere. Only the woman in the corner stood up silently. Walk in the direction where Chu Xiu left. PS. The prototype of itching is SCP-999. I don't know if you have guessed it right. Chapter 29. The actual role of itching monsters. Foods are mainly high calorie, like canned food, chocolate, etc. Take away. Move as much drinking water as you need. Inside the supermarket, Chu Xiu said, while holding the itchy clothes in one hand. At his command. Yinyi found a trolley in the supermarket warehouse and was putting the mineral water, the whole box up. Li Qiu was also in the warehouse. Collect high calorie foods such as chocolate in whole boxes. Both women are very smart. No time wasted on supermarket shelves. Instead of taking those scattered pieces, it is better to go directly to the warehouse and move the whole box. Chu Xiu was not idle either. All the high-end cigarettes in the supermarket were loaded into the shopping cart by him. This thing, the more it goes to the back, the less it is. It is a consumable in the true sense. The kind that won't be produced again. After all, as long as there is no problem with the brain, no one will waste resources producing this thing. Toothpaste, toothbrush, razor. Chu Xiu wanders the shelves of the supermarket. The two shopping carts were magnetically propelled and walked in front of Chu Xiu. Whenever Chu Xiu sees something useful, just throw it into the shopping cart. In fact, such basic daily necessities are fully equipped in the villas of Yijiang Garden Point, but most of them were used by the original owner when given the choice. Chu Xiu didn't want to use what other people used. Wait a minute. Just when Chu Xiu was strolling through the daily necessities section of the supermarket. Before, the woman in the staff lounge chased after him out of breath. The supermarket is huge. The woman has been looking for a long time. Halfway through, he was almost bitten by a zombie. Hello. After finally finding Chu Xiu, the woman was speechless for a while. Not stuttering. Rather, the brain is trying to organize language. Leave me alone. You want to follow me, don't you? Chu Xiu directly interrupted the woman's language organization. He doesn't like going around corners. What a woman wants to say, you don't need to guess to know that she definitely wants to follow her. The woman nodded vigorously. Just as she was about to speak, Chu Xiu interrupted her again. What can you bring me? What are you worth? Faced with Chu Xiu's soul questioning, the woman took a deep breath and calmed down. Only said one sentence. My name is Chen Miaoyu, and I'm a 2 Michelin star chef. Face this answer. Chu Xiu was stunned for a second. What he wanted to hear was a more pragmatic answer. For example, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, and I'm a pilot, even if it doesn't work out. But a chef? Chu Xiu thought about it and decided to give her a chance. Can you drive a truck? Chu Xiu asked. Truck? I have a C1 driver's license. It should be no problem. Chen Miaoyu was taken aback by the question, but she also understood that Chu Xiu couldn't be asking random questions, so after thinking about it, she nodded. Then go move things. Wait a minute, and you drive your own car and follow? Chu Xiu ordered. One more driver means one more car's supplies. Neither Yinyi nor Li Qiu can drive. After all, before the end of the day, the two of them were just students, and they didn't need to drive, so naturally they didn't go to school. Okay, no problem. Hearing Chu Xiu's words, Chen Miao's eyes were full of joy. Nodding again and again. By the way, I should call you Chu Xiu. No, or else, shall I call you boss? Or boss, Chen? Miao was startled. She didn't dare to call Chu Xiu's name directly. Casual. Chu Xiu ignored it. Push the shopping cart magnetically and keep going. Soon Yunyi and Li Qiuyu finished moving supplies. Full boxes of food and water filled the rear compartment of the Doomsday Chariot. There were still a lot of supplies that couldn't fit, so they had to be stuffed into the truck that Chen Miao found. At this time, it also reflects the advantages of having two cars. After you go back, you to quickly learn to drive before leaving the supermarket. Chu Xiu ordered. But there's no driving school right now, Yin. Yi asked stupidly without turning around. Chu Xiu rolled his eyes. Bad breath. Are you still learning from the beginning of the subject? Look at the traffic lights. Follow the traffic rules. Find an open space and drive it a few times, and you won't be able to do it. Done. Chu Xiu is still not relieved. A violent chestnut struck Yun Yi's little head. Knock on the skull. There are places called Maulazi and Chestnut Tall. Ow! Yun Yi cried out in pain. He also reacted and asked a stupid question. Opened the car door sullenly and got in. After this little episode, Chu Xiu and others embarked on the way back. The Doomsday Chariot opened the way at the front, and the truck driven by Chen Miao followed closely. Why are you following so closely? Because Chu Xiu said such a sentence. If you are left behind on the way, I will not wait for you, let alone stop to save you. Chen Miao was so frightened that she concentrated all the time. I'm afraid I won't be able to keep up. Gluck. Cluck. On the way, Chu Xiu threw an itchy monster on the passenger seat. I don't know. When I broke free of the packaged jelly-like body, squeezed out of the seam of the garment. After seeing the surrounding environment, he giggled at Chu Xiu. Laugh at the size of NM. Chu Xiu cursed. He grabbed the itch and threw it to the back row with his clothes on. Chu Xiu, why are you so cruel to it? Li Qiuyu caught the itch and wondered at the same time. Yun Yi, who had just been hit by a violent chestnut, did not dare to speak, but her eyes were equally puzzled. They don't understand. Why did Chu Xiu have such a big temper towards this harmless little guy? This thing is called Tickle. It's a low-level monster. Chu Xiu glanced at the rearview mirror, but found the itch in Li Qiuyu's arms, and broke free again. On the jelly-like body, two baby-like hands grew. Make a to hug gesture. Is this a monster? It doesn't seem that scary, knowing that itchy monsters are the monsters that Chu Xiu mentioned before. The two women have a strong sense of contrast. This is a special case. Normal monsters are very dangerous. Unlike zombies and beasts, most monsters have some special abilities, similar to our superpowers, but even weirder. While driving, Chu Xiu revealed what he knew about monsters. But to be honest, Chu Xiu doesn't know much about monsters in his previous life. He couldn't touch the existence of monsters at all. To meet is to die. The kind without any suspense, Tickle, is no exception. It feeds on the negative emotions of humans. It's cute. It's for humans to take the initiative to approach it. Ordinary people who are ingested by it for a long time will be depressed and even die in severe cases. Chu Xiu talked about his understanding of itching. In the future, countless people would rather use hundreds of carts of supplies in exchange for an itchy monster. The reason for this, it's because of the negative emotions that Tickle sucks. Not just anger and sadness. It can even suck the pain of an injury. For those people, it is a walking universal anesthetic, which can make people forget their troubles and stop pain. The only problem, that is, people who have been sucked by it for a long time will gradually forget part of their memories. Forget those painful memories. Become a jolly fool all day long. Chapter 30 Traces of the Receiver. Oh my god, how powerful is this little thing? After listening to Chu Xiu's introduction, Li Qiuyu and Yun Yi were both stunned. Looking at the itch-like jelly in his arms, both have a strong sense of inconsistency. Emotional sucking. This kind of terrifying ability that sounds like a demon in mythology. This little guy who looks like a slime actually has it. If nothing else happens, this itchy monster should still be a juvenile. Chu Xiu said solemnly. Normally, itching is not a person who touches it and can't stop laughing. This little thing should have not learned to control his own ability. You smell it. Chu Xiu finished. Both Li Qiu and Yun Yi lowered their heads and sniffed the itchy monster. Gluck cluck. Seeing the two girls approaching, Tickle smiled happily. Baby-like translucent little hands kept dancing. I want to touch them. Wow. It's my favorite strawberry flavor. It's the smell of lavender. The two girls smelled it. They were all surprised and then gave two completely different answers. Hey, how come? Can't you smell such an obvious strawberry smell? Yin Yi was confused. Li Qiu was also a little surprised because she was sure that what she smelled was lavender. This is her favorite scent. Impossible to smell wrong. Looks like I guessed right. This little thing is a juvenile and he can't control his own abilities. Chu Xiu is not surprised. When it uses its abilities, it releases a mood-pleasing pheromone. Everyone smells it. All were his favorite scents in his own memory. Obviously, the itchy monster that Chu Xiu obtained has been using his abilities uncontrollably. So then, wouldn't it be of no use to us at all? Yin Yi couldn't help but ask. You can't even touch it. So what's the use of this itchy monster? Chu Xiu did not speak. A foot on the brakes, slowed the car down. Then, he picked up a pistol from the armrest box and shot it out of the window. Boom. The sound of gunfire echoed through the empty streets and soon attracted a large group of zombies. But it wasn't them that Chu Xiu was waiting for. Sigh. Accompanied by the iconic roar, a winged demon swooped down from the sky. Okay. The corners of Chu Xiu's mouth rose slightly. Manipulate the magnetic field and tear a piece of iron from the roof of the car to form a large metal hand. Scratching the itch, moved to the outside of the car and threw it towards the swooping winged demon. Tickle is unbiased. With a squeak, it stuck on the winged demon's face. The gel-like body directly wrapped most of the winged demon's face. For a moment, the winged demon lost control of his body. With a thud, it hit the roof of the doomsday chariot driven by Chu Xiu. Quack. Quack. Immediately afterwards, a harsh laugh like sawing wood came from the roof of the car. This is the winged demon is laughing. Itching. Can still be used like this? Control the beasts. Yin Yi feels that her worldview has been refreshed. More than a beast. Chu Xiu said lightly. Then, manipulate the iron pieces to kill the winged demon that fell onto the roof. Then grab the itch and threw it into the car. Tickle's ability is indistinguishable from strong or weak. Even if it is a high-level monster, its ability can play a certain role. Chu Xiu added. This is also an important reason why it is hard to find $1,000 in the future. Used well, this thing can even save your life in battle. Wow, it's so powerful. Shall we give it a name? How about Jelly? After this display, the two girls were conquered by Itch's strength. A cute and powerful orange slime. Who wouldn't love it? The two discussed it and even gave Itchy a name. Chu Yan did not interfere with the communication between the two. At this time, he was driving while checking his experience points. Current experience value 961. Killing the winged demon adds 50 experience, plus a few zombies killed on the way. The experience value is about to break 1,000 again. In this way, the control of lightning can also be upgraded. Chu Xiu has a bland surface. The joy in my heart was beyond words. The speed of my own upgrade is not amazing. The same ability, Li Qiu's lightning control is still LV1 level. He is almost at LV3 level. It's still 40. Looking at this insignificant number, Chu Xiu was full of motivation. But on the waypoint, zombies have been killed 70-88. At a glance, there are only a few zombies wandering around. Let's take a detour from this road. Seeing this, Chu Xiu resolutely drove into another road at a three-way intersection. This road also leads to Yijiang Garden. It's just that the journey is a little farther, passing through a small town and a few more intersections. Okay. Li Qiu and Yun Yi would naturally not refute Chu Xiu's decision. Watching the vehicle pull into an unfamiliar road, the two women straightened their bodies, ignored the itching, and became vigilant. Raw. As soon as we entered the fork in the road, the number of zombies suddenly increased. With the same, Chu Xiu's eyes lit up, and dozens of silver lights shot out like sharp arrows. You kill ordinary zombies, you kill. Accompanied by a pleasant beep. Chu Xiu's experience points began to grow rapidly. Soon, it exceeded 1000. You kill any level mutant zombie raider. Experience value plus 10. Current EXP. 1009. Continue. Chu Xiu did not choose to upgrade on the spot. Instead, he continued to drive while eliminating the zombies on this route. Soon, the vehicle pulled into a small town. Strangely, after entering the town, the number of zombies became sporadic again. It was as if the zombies in the town had been cleaned up. Wait, that car. Sudden. Chu Xiu saw a familiar truck in the town. It was the two trucks that transported the bodies. Chapter 31. Terrible Resilience. Immortal? I see. The two trucks that left from Lijiang Garden before. A car hit a house on the side of the road. Another car hit a traffic light at the intersection. There were still a lot of corpses piled up in the backs of the two cars, and the smell of rancidity was blowing. Those two didn't burn the body. Seeing this scene, Chu Xiu couldn't help frowning. It's not that I want to trouble those two people. In fact, if Chu Xiu guessed correctly, those two people are probably already dead. Be careful. I think there's something wrong with this town. Chu Xiu slowed down. Drive slowly on the road in the town. Why do these corpses have no limbs? At this time, Li Qiu found something different. There are some long dead zombies on the streets of the town. But strangely, the corpses were all without limbs, leaving only a torso lying on the ground. It was as if something had ripped their limbs off. Woo-woo. After entering the town, I was very happy and itchy all the way. Suddenly no more giggling. Instead, he shrank his body and let out a small whimper. Jelly seems to be afraid of something. Yen Yi looked at the itchy eyes and guessed, it's a monster. Chu Xiu didn't look back. It is still a monster, no matter how bad it is, and there are only monsters stronger than it that can make it afraid. Here, Chu Xiu's voice just fell. On the left side of the town, in a building, suddenly there was the sound of jingling tables and chairs colliding. There, Li Qiu pointed to the building that made the sound. Everyone turned their attention to the past. I saw a tall figure appearing at the door of the building. The first one came out was a rough man's palm, then a small child's palm, another white woman's palm, an old man's palm. But without exception, they are all pale dead hands. More than a dozen palms are holding the gate together. Work hard. The huge body was squeezed out of the door frame. What the hell is this? Yin Yi was startled. What appeared was a spliced monster more than 2 meters high, and its body was composed of countless human limbs all over the body with hands and feet. It walks like a multi-legged insect, like a snake. Asymmetrical human feet under the monster lined up and moved quickly. When the densely packed limbs move, they sway wildly. This picture, I'm afraid that the patient will look at it. I'm afraid that he will be scared and numb. Chu Xiu, do you know what that is? Li Qiu endured the discomfort and asked. Chu Xiu shook his head. It could be a limb grafter, or it could be a suture monster. There are many monsters that can hold human limbs on their bodies. Chu Xiu is also not sure which one is in front of him. Chu Xiu, it's coming. Yen Yi reminded. Either way. Right now, this multi-handed multi-legged monster composed of human limbs seems to have discovered Chu Xiu and his party. Obviously no eyes, but it charged straight towards the doomsday chariot. More than a dozen feet are running below, and the speed is actually fast in the early stage. Dong dong dong. The heavy body, trampling on the ground, made a muffled sound like a drum. You protect the supplies in the car. After leaving a sentence, Chu Xiu got out of the car directly. The moment you get off. The magnetic field energy is released without reservation. Boom, boom. Two abandoned cars next to the street were torn to shreds by the magnetic force. The metal wreck was split in two. Half of it was like a python, entangling towards the oncoming monster. The other half transformed into sharp spears in the air. Go. The spear was just formed. It shoots at the monster like a sharp arrow. Puff, puff. Puff. With the sound of sharp knives piercing into the flesh, dozens of spears hit the monsters one after another, without exception. At first glance, the monster looks like a porcupine, full of metal spears. Dong dong dong. But the monster is like nothing. Still taking heavy steps, he rushed towards Chu Xiu. It didn't even slow down in the slightest. Are there any weaknesses? Chu Xiu frowned. Then, Control the other half of the metal wreckage to wrap around the monster's limbs like a python. Finally caught the monster. Make it impossible to move on. Squeak immediately after. Chu Xiu manipulates the metal bar and tightens it quickly. And saw teeth grow at the edge, and in the process of tightening it, it is also cutting the monster's body. Clap clap clap. The pale limbs of the dead were sawed off, fell from the monster. Next second, it's as if the limbs were drawn to some force. It moved slowly. Once again integrated into the body of this monster. Can you recover? Chu Xiu's tone was cold. He turned his attention to the dozens of metal spears stuck on the monster. Magnetic field energy released. The tip of the metal spear began to split and bend within the monster's body. Like a flower. Into the shape of a fish hook. The tips of dozens of spears have all turned into hooks. Each hooks a part of the monster's body. See if you can recover. Chu Xiu's voice just fell. Control the magnetic field and pull dozens of spears together. Stab it like torn rags. Every spear torn from the monster. Chunks of flesh, minced meat hangs from the hook. Splattered blood. The monster was torn apart in an instant. Minced meat everywhere. No organs, no brains. The entire structure of the monster is made up of human limbs. Not dead yet. Looking at the minced meat scattered all over the place, Chu Xiu suddenly realized, no kill beep. As predicted. The next second, the limbs scattered on the ground began to gather in the middle again. Crawling on the ground with palms feet bent, pulsing a short distance away. You are amazing. Seeing this scene, Chu Xiu couldn't help but be shocked by the tenacity of this monster. But shock is shock. There was no softness in the beginning. System upgrade. Lightning control. Ding. Consume 1000 experience. Upgrade. Lightning control. Accompanied by a system beep. The familiar huge energy poured into Chu Xiu's body again. For a moment. Lightning appears. Chu Xiu's hair began to be filled with dense small currents. Eyes filled with lightning. I can't see my pupils anymore. Oh my god. Seeing Chu Xiu's change, Yin Yi's mouth widened in shock. Li Qiuyu was even more shocked and speechless. She is also a lightning power user. Feel more intuitive. It's this still lightning generated by magnetic force. It's more terrifying than me, a lightning power user. Li Qiuyu was shocked in her heart. She could feel that the thunder energy in Chu Xiu's body was dozens of times more than her own. If you put this energy on yourself. Don't take control. It is estimated that it will be electrocuted into coke in an instant, right? Chapter 32 Lightning Ability Upgrade. Name, Chu Xiu. System level 1 Strength, 72 Agility, 10 Physique, plus 8 Energy, 164, plus 49 Talent. Magnetic Field Control LV3, Julie LV2, Lightning Control LV3, 0 over 10,000, Used slot, 3/5 experience. 143. After the lightning control upgrade, the energy index skyrocketed again. Even the physique has improved a lot. However, compared with the changes in numerical values, what makes Chu Xiu feel deeper is his control over lightning. Spread the palm of your hand, and several thunderlights are intertwined in the palm of your hand to form a net. Keep increasing the current. Zizzy, the current is continuously compressed by Chu Xiu in the space of one palm. Electricity is getting bigger and bigger. The current compressed to the extreme, forming a liquid-like form, and uncontrolled magnetic force is generated. Start attracting some small metal shards around. Roll. But this magnetic force instantly dissipated in front of Chu Xiu's magnetic field. Metal shards that just flew halfway through. They fell down. I hope you can recover after being scorched. Talking room. The electrical energy gathered in Chu Xiu's palm finally condensed into a ball. It was slowly pushed out. Zizzy, the palm-sized electric ball moved slowly in the air, as if floating. During the movement, a tiny electric current leaked from the sphere and kept hitting nearby metal objects. Gone for a few seconds. Only then did the electric ball slowly land on the wreckage of the monster's body. It fell lightly, very gentle, and seemed to have no lethal power, but the moment of contact. A white light suddenly lit up. Boom. A violent explosion sounded from the remains of the monster's body. The violent electric energy flooded inside the electric ball is unscrupulously vented. Crazy hit all the conductive substances around. The limbs scattered on the ground were burned to coke by the violent electric current almost instantly. The crackling electric shock continued for nearly 10 seconds. It gradually stopped. Finally, a semicircular pit more than 40 centimeters deep appeared in front of Chu Xiu. The surface of the deep pit has traces of high temperature roasting, smooth like a mirror. Chu Xiu was also shocked by this terrifying power. What was even more surprising was that after he pushed the electric ball out, he could no longer control it. The electric ball is out of control. Its attacks are indiscriminate. If you get close, this thing will also kill you. As if it had turned into something else. It's not just electricity anymore. But if it's not electricity, what is it? Chu Xiu couldn't help but have a little doubt in his heart. But now is not the time to think about that. When the energy of the electric ball dissipated completely, Chu Xiu slowly walked towards the deep pit. The system beep still did not sound. Chu Xiu is also on high alert. Squeak. Squeak. At this moment, Yan Yi, who was holding Ching in her arms, suddenly stretched out her little hand. Pointing at a corpse not far from the deep pit, he screamed. Seems to remind Chu Xiu. There? Chu Xiu looked back at Tickle, walked towards the wreckage. Really, just as Chu Xiu approached, a black liquid suddenly flowed out of the wreckage that had been scorched black by electricity, as if there is life. Take the initiative to flow towards Chu Xiu. It turns out that this is your body. No wonder you can't kill it. A flash of enlightenment flashed in Chu Xiu's eyes. Then an electric current shot out from the fingertips. Continue to bombard the black water until the strange black water is completely evaporated. Only then did Chu Xiu stop pointing. You kill the D-level monster, the fragment of the ligator, the experience value plus 1000. The beep finally sounded. It turned out to be the receiver. Wait, why is it a fragment? Chu Xiu was confused by the sound. Limbers he'd heard of. But what does fragmentation mean? Could it be that in the past life, the limb grafters killed by the awakened ones were just fragments? A fragment is a D-level monster. What would a real limb recipient look like? Chu Xiu couldn't imagine. But fortunately, after killing it, Chu Xiu gained a huge amount of experience, whether it was a fragment or not. A full 1000 experience points. Equivalent to 1000 ordinary zombies. With so many zombies, even if you line up to kill yourself, you will have to kill for hours. It's a pity that monsters are not so easy to encounter. That being said, in fact, Chu Xiu knew very well that if he had encountered a monster casually, he might have died a long time ago. A D rank is so difficult to deal with. If you come across other levels. But this 1000 experience can be used to upgrade Julie. After solving the limb grafter, Chu Xiu decided to use the experience he just gained to enhance his melee compatibility. Although up to now, Chu Xiu has little chance of melee combat, and he won't take the initiative to melee. But whether or not it is used is one thing, whether it is there or not is another. Upgrade Julie. Consume 1000 experience. Upgrade Julie. For a moment. A huge amount of energy is used again. Filled with limbs and bones this time. More energy is used to strengthen Chu Xiu's body. With physical enhancement. An unprecedented sense of expansion hit. It feels like there is inexhaustible power in the muscles, as if one punch can blow up the planet. Name, Chu Xiu. System level 1 strength. 151, plus 79, agility. 10 physical. 79 plus 44, energy. 164, talent, magnetic field control LV3, Julie LV3, maximum, lightning control LV3, use slot. 3/5 experience. 143. The data also proves how Chu Xiu feels. The magnitude of the increase in upgrading the giant power is very terrifying, almost the sum of the improvement of the other two abilities. Power not to mention. Even the physique has reached nearly 8 times that of ordinary people. You must know that physique is a comprehensive data, which includes stamina, immunity, metabolism, fighting ability and other defensive attributes. Now, all of Chu Xiu's values have reached an inhuman level. Pulled fast. If you have a chance, you must copy a haste ability. Chu Xiu thought to himself. At this moment, he noticed the information behind Jelly LV3. Maximum is Julie now full behind. The lightning control and magnetic control 0/10,000 is displayed. It means there is still room for improvement. However, behind Julie, there is no experience point. Only one maximum point means it's full. It seems that Julie's potential is here. Chu Xiu shook his head. Close the attribute panel, turn around and walk towards the doomsday chariot. When passing Yin Yi, he glanced at her with a little helplessness, then got into the car. Why are you looking at me like that, Qiu? Is there something on my face? Yin Yi looked bewildered. Chapter 33. The news on the broadcast. After getting back on the road. The seats in the car have been changed. Li Qiu was still sitting in the back row with itchy itch. Because of Chu Xiu's look just now, Yin Yi sat in the passenger seat with a puzzled look. In fact, it's not just her who has doubts in her mind. In fact, Li Qiu also had many questions in her heart that she wanted to ask Chu Xiu. For example, the monster or the electric ball that Chu Xiu just released. But the two girls noticed that Chu Xiu was frowning and seemed to be thinking about something. Then the two of them tacitly buried their doubts in their hearts. Did not speak. Just now, I compressed the lightning energy to the extreme that I can compress it. It stands to reason, even if it is compressed, the properties of energy should not change either. But why can't I control that electric ball? In the car, Chu Xiu was still thinking about the trick he just released. In the beginning, Chu Xiu simply wanted to increase the power, so he kept compressing the lightning energy in his palm. But when the energy is compressed to a certain extent, gradually out of his control. And, from the final explosion, the performance of the electric ball is not like a pure electric attack. It's more like. Chu Xiu recalled the explosion when the electric ball hit the ground. Suddenly a word popped into my head. Plasma bomb. Then, Chu Xiu shook his head again. No, plasma bombs, said to be plasma, are actually plasma. Could it be that the lightning energy compressed by me formed plasma? Chu Xiu came up with a slightly surprising conjecture. With this conjecture, Chu Xiu paused his thinking and returned his attention to reality. Li Qiu and Yin Yi also noticed this. But after that momentum, the curiosity of the two has faded, and they have no mind to ask questions. Seeing that it is not far from Yijiang Garden, there were fewer and fewer zombies on the road, and the road began to return to peace. Maybe board. After obtaining the consent of Chu Xiu, Yin Yi, the co-pilot, turned on the car radio. Hey, is anyone listening? I'm the boss of RQ, Mahuata, and I'm trapped in the asterisk now. Whoever of you will save me, I'll give him 500 million Q coins. Zizi, I'm actress Yang Mao. Whoever heard this, please come and save me. I am willing to sleep with you. Zizi, who brought me something to eat? I'm starving to death. The address is, Zizi, come and save me. I was found by zombies. They are knocking on the door. No. AHHH. Zizi, the broadcast is on. All kinds of calls for help were heard. Yin Yi switched more than a dozen channels in a row, all of which were all kinds of people crying for help. Up to billionaires, top actresses, down to the little people. Everyone is calling for help on the radio, hoping those who hear it go and help them. Is the situation out there so bad? Li Qiu couldn't help saying. Following Chu Xiu's side, it is almost impossible to feel the cruelty of the apocalypse. But those people on the radio. But always threatened by death. Precarious. When the apocalypse broke out, almost all of my friends and girlfriends died. Some of them were killed by me. Here, the call for help on the radio. Yin Yi seemed to remember something, looked down at the baseball bat in her hand, and her eyes began to turn red. At this time. A small translucent hand stretched out from behind the co-pilot's seat. Jelly-like little hands. He touched Yin Yi lightly. Haha, no way. They all turned into zombies at that time. If you don't kill me, you have to die. Yin Yi, who was still a little sad just now, suddenly changed her face. The depressed mood disappeared instantly. And excitedly debugged the broadcast. And this time she finally heard a different broadcast than before. Zizzy, survivors who listen to this broadcast, please go to Hushan prison immediately. We have established shelters with adequate food and water and safe shelter. Don't worry, we have no zombies and are very safe. Zizzy, is that a lie? How could there be no zombies? Hearing the words on the radio, Yen Yi expressed doubts immediately after. There was another word on the radio. Solved her doubts. Zizzy, we have sufficient weapons and equipment here, as well as the protection of 3 powerful ability users. Very safe. We will prepare food and shelter for everyone who comes from afar. Please feel free to come. I wish you a safe journey. Zizzy. With the last word of blessing. Broadcast ends after more than 10 minutes. The second round of broadcasts began. Survivors who listen to this broadcast, please go to Hushan prison immediately. Hushan prison. Why does this place sound so familiar? Yin Yi turned off the radio. Wondered. Yi, the group of people in the supermarket, said about this place. Li Qiu quickly remembered. Survivors in the supermarket mentioned this place in the conversation. Really? Then I think this sanctuary seems to be pretty good. Yin Yi also seemed to remember a little. The prison has high walls and there must be a lot of firearms. The radio also said that they have 3 abilities. It seems that they said that there are no zombies nearby, which may not be bragging. After listening to Yin Yi's analysis, Li Qiu nodded. At least in terms of safety, what the broadcast said might be true. Safety is fine. At this time, Chu Xiu, who had not spoken for a while, spoke slowly. But if you really went there, Chu Xiu sneered. As far as he knows, the actual controller of Hushan prison is actually a group of prisoners. The first few were still felons. Such a base. If someone really believed the nonsense on the radio, they would run over stupidly. The results are predictable, but the broadcast mentioned that there were 3 powerful abilities in Hushan prison. This news really attracted Chu Xiu. I don't know if these 3 people have the haste power that I want. Ordinary people go to Hushan prison, it is sheep into wolves, but in the past, Chu Xiu didn't speak, just showed a meaningful smile. After turning off the radio. It didn't take long. Everyone returned to the main road. Not far away, they could already see the buildings of Yijiang Garden. It's finally here. 2 daughters who have experienced a day of ups and downs couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. I'll take a good bath later. Yin Yi, who was sitting in the co-pilot, stretched for a while, and inadvertently, the perfect curve was undoubtedly revealed. It is different from Li Qiu's gentle curve like water. Yin Yi's curves are more symmetrical. Kind of like a female blogger who teaches people fitness online. It's just that her lines are not the result of training in the gym, but the result of years of work study. Chapter 34. Itchy weird. Please call a psychologist. Yin Yi said she wanted to rest, wait for the car to stop, but immediately began to actively carry materials, supplies for 2 vehicles. It took dozens of minutes to move. The 2 Michelin-starred female chef, Chen Miayu, was driving a van and followed him safely. The battle in the town. Chen Miayu was really frightened, but because of this, she felt Chu Xiu's power again. Because of this, Chen Miayu was even more convinced that her choice was correct. I'm going to cook for you, Chen Miayu is very aware of her own value. After moving the supplies in the car, she didn't dare to rest for a moment and immediately went into the kitchen. The strange thing is, Chen Miayu seems to be very familiar with the architectural structure of Yijiang Garden. I found the kitchen as soon as I looked. When Chu Xiu asked, she found out that Chen Miayu herself was a resident of Yijiang Garden. In addition to be a 2 Michelin star chef. He is also the owner of a chain of high-end restaurants. Boss, can I go get my kitchen utensils? My old house is there. After being asked by Chu Xiu. Chen Miayu also pointed to another villa not far away and asked if she could use her own kitchen utensils. She did not say that it was her own house, but said that it was her original house, because now the entire Yijiang Garden is owned by Chu Xiu. Chen Miayu knew this very well. Don't dare to go beyond. Go Chu Xiu didn't care so much. He just wants to see if the so-called Michelin chefs make good dishes. Soon Chen Miao took back her commonly used kitchen utensils and made a sumptuous dinner. Surprisingly, what she cooks is not Western food, but authentic Sichuan food. Full color and flavor. Under the inquiry of Chu Xiu, Chen Miao gave an explanation. I have always studied Sichuan cuisine. Speaking of which, my level of Sichuan cuisine is actually much better than Western cuisine, but the Michelin rating point has never recognized Chinese food, so I'm only 2 stars now. Chen Miao finished speaking. Shook his head. She didn't care about this for a long time. In the end, no matter how high the star rating is, it is a joke that she can't survive. Therefore, for the man in front of him who is willing to accept him. Chen Miao was actually full of gratitude. Boss, thank you for letting me stay. Chen Miao picked up the wine glass and drank it elegantly. Chu Xiu did not respond. Just quietly enjoying the food. His consistent principle is to make the best use of things and people to fulfill their responsibilities. If Chen Miao had no value, Chu Xiu wouldn't even look at her. You arrange a vigil alone. After eating, Chu Xiu left a sentence and went upstairs alone. Down this day. Although the harvest is very rich, it is really exhausting. I'll watch the night. What's the matter? I'll call you again. After Chu Xiu left, Chen Miao volunteered. If you don't want to be abandoned, you must work hard and show your worth. I am with you. Li Qiuyu was a little worried about this newcomer. Decided to keep vigil with her. It's been a long time, so I'll just take a break. Yin Yi did not refuse. After all, the vigil is not just tonight, it's a turn. Done. She went upstairs with the itch wrapped in clothes. Time passed quietly. The sky has completely darkened. The only woman who was free, Yin Yi, could not fall asleep after tossing and turning. As the person with the longest contact with Chu Xiu, in Yin Yi's heart, Chu Xiu has long had an inexplicable feeling. After learning that Li Qiuyu and Chu Xiu are not in a relationship. Originally suppressed emotions it spewed out uncontrollably. There is only one ID left in the small head. Or did I cut my beard? Oops. No. What? If Qiuyu scolds me for taking love with the sword, Yin Yi was lying on the bed, and the whole person was caught in a contradiction. Both want to boldly show love. He was also afraid of hurting his friendship with Li Qiuyu. Look ahead. Never came up with a conclusion. Hey, what the hell is going on? You can't go to Chu Xiu for rice to cook cooked rice. I really can't think of a result. Yin Yi grimaced and wrapped her head with a pillow, acting like an ostrich. However, Yin Yi, who chose to escape from reality, didn't notice the itch that she threw on the bed squeezed out of the clothes again. Itchy. After coming out. Blink big eyes. It's hard to imagine that it has such big eyes on its basketball-sized body. Bright like 2 light bulbs. After looking around for a week, Tickle turned his attention to Yin Yi. Timid, hesitant, doubt, uneasy. Yin Yi's various negative emotions are like a beacon, attracting itchy monsters. In its eyes, that's the most delicious emotion in the world. Gluck. Cluck. Tickle is very happy. The jelly-like body moved slowly. Slap. A baby-sized translucent hand gently touched Yin Yi's arm. Yin Yi, who was burying her head in the pillow, was stunned. After 3 seconds Yin Yi suddenly snorted and stood up from the bed. No, why am I hesitating? It's the end of the world. Why so much love in action? Yin Yi suddenly figured it out. Without any hesitation, he pushed open the door. Lu Xiao ran and went straight to Chu Xiu's bedroom. Boom. The door was pushed open. You're crazy, Yin Yi. Why are you kicking my door in the middle of the night? F***K. F***K. What are you doing? Speak. Well, if you have something to say, grass, you really came, didn't you? It is good. Chu Xiu's tone changed from anger to surprise, and finally to decisiveness. Boom. The door closed again. Strange. Did you hear any strange noises downstairs? Li Qiuyu, who was in charge of the vigil, suddenly stood up from the sofa. Could it be zombies entering the community again? Chen Miao stood up. Not sure. Walk. Go out and see. Li Qiuyu month finished. The two picked up flashlights and walked outside the house. The two of them didn't know yet. That strange sound will continue for a long time, until the next morning. It gradually stopped. PS. Dear readers, I know you don't like to watch, so I took it with a thoughtful stroke. Asterisk carrot carrot asterisk. No thanks if you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World. It means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter: I'm going to go to Hushan prison. The next day. The morning sun shone in, reflecting a ray of morning sun. Chu Xiu was neatly dressed, leaning on the rocking chair on the balcony, smoking a cigarette one by one. Frightened? Me? I thought it was. It's nothing. Chu Xiu flicked the soot and said with a slight disdain. But that being said, yesterday, Chu Xiu was actually taken aback by Yin Yi. At first, I thought it was my fault. In the face of Chu Xiu's ridicule. At this time, Yin Yi, who was completely sober, regretted that her bowels were turning green. Am I crazy? Wait, it looks like jelly. Yin Yi suddenly remembered something. The reason why I'm so brave seems to be because of jelly. Jelly absorbed my timidity. Jelly. I hate, love, you. Yin Yi, who understood everything, couldn't help crying in her heart. On the breakfast table, Li Qiu, with obvious dark circles under her eyes, reported a strange incident to Chu Xiu. There was a strange cry last night that went on all night, but she went out on patrol a few times. No source was found. It's not a monster again, is it? Li Qiu said worriedly, but he didn't notice that Yin Yi on the other side of the dining table. Her little head was almost buried in her ice bowl. Fortunately, she has the power of giant power enhanced physique. Otherwise, it is estimated that he would still be lying on the floor at this time. Chu Xiu is so rude. Isn't his power magnetism? How is the physical fitness so strong? Yin Yi was puzzled in every possible way. Cough. Qiu, stop thinking about it. It'll be fine. Otherwise Chu Xiu must have discovered it long ago. Yin Yi coughed lightly. He didn't even dare to look at Li Qiu. That's right. Li Qiu nodded. It's a recognition of Yin Yi's words. Chu Xiu's strength has long penetrated into Li Qiu's heart. Wait for this little episode to pass. Chu Xiu didn't panic and told the two daughters his next plan. I'm going to go to Hushan prison on the radio. Chu Xiu said. He wanted to see what talents those three awakens had. He doesn't mind using another talent slot or two if there's a fit. I will go with you. Chu Xiu's voice just fell. Yin Yi, who had experienced those things, stood up without the slightest hesitation. As a rural girl, Yin Yi's concept of love is very simple. Just admit death. As long as you identify with one person, you will never give up no matter what, unless you chase me away. Need not. I'm alone this time. Chu Xiu just wanted to refuse. But he noticed the determination in Yin Yi's eyes, so he changed his mind. Okay, then you go with me. Qiu, you and Chen Miyu stay in the community. Don't let anyone in. Chu Xiu arranged. Okay, no problem. Li Qiu nodded. She, who has always been obedient, naturally would not refute Chu Xiu's arrangement. But today, Yin Yi's performance made her feel a little strange. Couldn't help but take a look. Cough cough. Yin Yi didn't dare to meet Li Qiu's eyes and pretended to cough lightly. Looked away. Such a move further deepened Li Qiu's suspicions. So strange. Did something happen? Why is Yi avoiding me? Li Qiu frowned slightly, puzzled. I'm sorry dear sister, who made you slow down when passing by. Li Qiu. Yin Yi felt more guilty and could not help speeding up her pace. Just like that sentence. Girlfriends are birds of the same forest, and they fly separately when they get married. After breakfast, Chu Xiu began to look for suitable transportation in the community. Hushan prison is far away, and there are only 2 people on this trip, and there is no need to collect supplies, so Chu Xiu plans to travel light. A sports car. A sports car. It's a sports car again. TMD, these rich people know how to buy sports cars, right? No. Off-road dream at all? Chu Xiu opened the underground garages of villas. What you see is either a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, or a luxury car like a Rolls-Royce. These cars were a symbol of status until the end. But after the end, they even struggle to get on the road. These days, the road conditions are not so good for these supercars to gallop. Well, this is good. After getting tired of looking at supercars, Chu Xiu was finally in the garage of a villa. See the right vehicle. A retro looking Harley Davidson motorcycle. Flying handlebars. Wild mechanical beauty. A classic bison leather saddlebag is also installed on both sides of the rear. In retro style, it is a strong young heart and modified. Under the coverage of the magnetic field energy, Chu Yan could see the internal structure of the motorcycle at a glance. Not only modified. The modification is still huge. Just change the engine. It's a pity it's not a run flat, otherwise it would be perfect. Chu Xiu finished checking the vehicle, couldn't help but let out a sigh. However, in the next second, Chu Xiu found almost a complete set of modified parts in a compartment of this garage. Not to mention run flat. There's even a pair of off-road tires specially made for the Holly. You know, Holly, as a representative of cruise motorcycles, has no off-road tires on the market. If you want to have it, you can only customize it. Who is this owner so obsessed with Harley? Chu Xiu couldn't help but say. After that, he quickly put on the off-road tires, rode the modified Holly, and left the garage along the ramp. Boom boom boom, blah blah blah. Harley's roar was as thick as a lion's. Let go of the accelerator and you can hear the crackling sound of the backfire. Let's ride this over there. Seeing Chu Xiu coming over on a motorcycle, Yen Yi looked confused. But on second thought, she didn't find it strange. With Chu Xiu's powerful strength, it seems that he doesn't need the thin iron sheet of the car to defend. Most of the enemies can't get close to Chu Xiu's body at all. Close to, let alone an ordinary car. Even driving a bulletproof armored car probably won't play a defensive role. In this way, choosing a motorcycle is not only not strange, but very reasonable. After all, motorcycles are much more maneuverable than cars. Cough. Cough. Are you going to come up, or continue to stand here stupidly? Seeing that Yen Yi has been in a daze, Chu Xiu coughed lightly, and reminded in a bad mood. Oh, only. Then did Yen Yi react. He hurriedly sat behind Chu Xiu. When she got into the car, she seemed to be pulled into an injured part, causing her to hiss softly. What's wrong? Chu Xiu just asked about the exit. There was a slight pain in the waist. What do you say, Yen Yi, who has always been carefree? Her face was dripping with water, and she pinched Chu Xiu angrily. Only then did Chu Xiu react. Shook his head. Huh. You're so good at pinching people. Done. As soon as the accelerator was twisted, Harley roared and rushed out of the community. The exaggerated speed increase almost threw Yen Yi, who was not sitting firmly. She was so frightened that she hugged Chu Xiu. Chapter 36 Yen Yi kills zombies. I have experience. ? Boom 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 boom. On an abandoned highway full of zombies, Harley's growl sounded particularly harsh. Countless zombies were attracted by the sound, roared, passed over the abandoned vehicles, and rushed towards Harley. This one Harley was the only one moving along the entire highway. Everything around was dead. You kill ordinary zombies. You kill. Chu Xiu rode a Holly, with dozens of flying knives leading the way. Zombies coming, like the straw in front of the Reaper, falling down in rows. On Chu Xiu's attribute panel, the experience value increased rapidly. Wow. Yen Yi, sitting in the back row, has completely released herself. By car and motorcycle, it's two completely different feelings and nerves that had been suppressed for a long time gradually relaxed in the cold wind blowing in front of him. Yen Yi vented happily. She found that, as long as she was by Chu Xiu's side, she felt a great sense of security, as if the sky is falling down is not a problem. You are so kind, Chu Xiu. Realizing this, Yen Yi couldn't help holding her tighter. Just when Yen Yi was immersed in this kind of self-movement, Chu Xiu shatters this illusion. You trying to strangle me? You B*********. Chu Xiu rolled his eyes and said in a bad breath, This girl is afraid that she has forgotten that she is a power type. This effort. If she were still an ordinary person, her eyes would probably be squeezed out by her. I'm sorry, Yin. Yi also reacted. Say sorry. But he didn't let go. Just a little less force. The whole person is still tightly attached to Chu Xiu. Ah. You crazy again. Would you like me to find a house in front of me and stop for a while? Chu Xiu said this. Yin Yi immediately knew that she was afraid. No, 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 it still hurts. Yin Yi let go of her hand and only carefully tugged at a corner of Chu Xiu's clothes for fear that Chu Xiu would really find a place to stop. Then be honest. Chu Xiu stopped talking. But to be honest, like Yin Yi, after tasting it once, it really feels a little bit of the essence. No wonder there were so many kings in ancient times defeated in the gentle village. This thing is really more addicting than sucking tickles. 2 hours later, Yin Yi thought she had escaped today. As a result, the roar of the Harley Davidson began to weaken and slowly stopped. At this time they've got off the high speed. There is a residential area in front and there is a gas station next to it. Guru. Yin Yi swallowed her saliva. Why stop? I said it all. It still hurts. Yin Yi's frightened voice trembled. No, Yin Yi, do you have these things in your head? Facing Yin Yi's question, Chu Xiu was already full of black lines. Don't know why. Yin Yi can always accurately hit her own slot. Let yourself not stop ranting. What, then? Why did you stop? Realizing that she had made an oolong, Yin Yi quickly changed the subject. See for yourself. Chu Xiu pointed to the fuel gauge. Not feeling well. Yin Yi glanced at it. It is found that the pointer of the oil gauge has pointed to the red area. There's a gas station over there. Yin Yi pointed to the gas station not far away and reminded. That's right. There's a gas station over there. Otherwise, why should I stop? Chu Xiu looked at her meaningfully and said, I'm going to help you find the fuel card. Yin Yi blushed, pretending she couldn't hear Chu Xiu's jizzing. Get out of the car and go straight to the gas station. This tiger girl. Chu Xiu smiled. Also walked towards the gas station. But right now, something unexpected happened to Chu Xiu. The system beep sounded suddenly. Yin Yi kills ordinary zombies. Experience value +1. Chu Xiu, who has just stepped out. Stop instantly. What the hell did I hear it wrong? Chu Xiu's face was full of astonishment. Quickly open the system page and find the prompt just now. It clearly reads, Yin Yi kills ordinary zombies. Experience value +1. Why? Chu Xiu couldn't understand. It's not like Yin Yi has never killed zombies before. Why did he have no experience before, but now he has it? Chu Xiu has not figured it out yet. Not far away, Yin Yi killed another zombie. Yin Yi kills ordinary zombies. Experience value +1. The beep sounds again. Prove that this just appeared is not an isolated case. I found the fuel card in the gas station. Yin Yi picked up a card from the ground and turned around, but found Chu Xiu still standing in the same place. Hey, Chu Xiu, why didn't you come? Yin Yi looked puzzled. Chu Xiu didn't speak because he saw the changes in Yin Yi's attribute panel. Name, Yin Yi. Gender, female. Talent, Julie. LV2 loyalty, 100. Until death, a person who is absolutely loyal will be automatically bound as a subordinate of the host. Originally, there were only 3 values in the panel, but I didn't know when there was one more. Show loyalty, bind, subordinates, system. Why didn't you say it earlier? Seeing the changes in Yin Yi's attribute panel, Chu Xiu couldn't help asking in his heart. Finished asking. Chu Xiu reacted. This sentence is a no-brainer because its own system has no intelligence at all, as predicted. After Chu Xiu asked, there was still silence. Expand my properties. Only when the keyword is triggered, the system will respond. Name, Chu Xiu. System level 1. Strength 151. Left square bracket agility 10. Physique 79. Energy 164. Talent. Magnetic Field Control LV3. Julie LV3. Maximum. Lightning Control LV3. Use slot. 3/5. Subordinates. Yin. Loyalty 100. Subordinates kill enemies to provide experience to the host. The host can consume experience and upgrade talents and abilities for subordinates. After the system is upgraded, you can freely bind subordinates. And the loyalty must not be lower than 80 experience. 413. Read it. As predicted. There is also one more property panel. Moreover, in the introduction to the subordinate column, the upgrade system is also mentioned. Yeah, I got it. If you don't upgrade the system, you can only bind by default. The binding requirements are also high, and the loyalty of 100 must be reached if upgraded, as long as the loyalty of 80 can be bound. After reading the introduction, Chu Xiu solved the doubts in his heart. And binding subordinates can not only add experience to your self. You can also do the opposite, consume experience, and improve the ability of the bound person. It can be said that it is mutually beneficial. Just didn't expect. Chu Xiu retracted his mind and cast his eyes on Yin, who had a confused face. This silly girl's loyalty to me has actually reached the level of death. Chu Xiu couldn't believe it. Looking at Yin-Yi's eyes, she couldn't help softening. However, in the next second, Yin-Yi's carefree temperament came out again. Look at what I'm doing. Come here and cheer. Chapter 37. You disturbed the witch! Exclamation mark. Fuel up the holly. Chu Xiu once again set foot on the road to Hushan prison. Only this time, whenever he needed to stop on the way, Chu Xiu would hand over the nearby ordinary zombies to Yin-Yi to deal with. It didn't take long for Guan Yin-Yi to provide Chu Xiu with nearly 200 points of experience. Chu Xiu killed more by himself. The roar of Harley's motorcycles will be attracted from time to time, such as mutant zombies and winged demons. The experience value of killing them is much more than killing ordinary zombies. Near noon, Chu Xiu's total experience is close to 2000. Current EXP. 1971. Let's go ahead and get something to eat. When arriving in a town that resembles an urban-rural border, Chu Xiu looked at the time and decided to finish lunch before moving on. Because it is light, Chu Xiu did not prepare food. However, with his current strength, he can find food wherever he goes. Yi nodded. Not only was she hungry, but she also wanted to find a place to change her clothes. Unlike Chu Xiu, no matter how many zombies he kills, he will be spotless. Because of the close combat, Yin-Yi's body was already stained with blood, and a pure white t-shirt was dyed red. Fortunately, Yin-Yi wasn't a pampered girl at first. She was a little dirty and tired, and she wouldn't complain at all. Instead, he was happy that Chu Xiu let himself fight. Because it means that Chu Xiu values himself. Don't think of yourself as a vase. That's the house. Chu Xiu said, parked Harley on the side of the road, and walked over with Yin-Yi. He wasn't at all worried about someone stealing the Harley. The reason is simple. No keys. For a long time, Chu Xiu used magnetic energy to twist the lock cylinder structure of the vehicle out of thin air. Others simply can't do it, because this is a town that resembles an urban-rural border. Chu Xiu walked to the door of the private house and found that there were still some peanuts in the door of the house. Peanuts are already dry. But its owner will never come to collect it. Raw. Because Chu Xiu approached, two zombies rushed out of the house. One of them was a raider familiar to Chu Xiu. However, don't wait for Chu Xiu to do it. Yin-Yi, who was already familiar with the road, picked up a baseball bat and solved them without a word. Yin-Yi kills ordinary zombies. Experience value +1. Yin-Yi kills Z-level mutant zombie raider. Experience value +10. Accompanied by a beat. 2 zombies, with their heads blooming, fell to the ground one after the other. Yi, do you plan to change weapons, such as a knife? With a helpless expression, Chu Xiu crossed the floor full of tofu brains and asked at the same time. This way. Yin-Yi's battles are also violent. She was originally a power type ability, plus a solid metal baseball bat. Where are you going? Where is the tofu brain all over the place? The knife is too light to feel in the hand. Yen Yi shook her head. It's not that she hasn't used a machete before. The problem is that it's like a piece of paper in her hand. Completely weightless. Fine. Then I'll help you remodel the bat. Seeing this, Chu Xiu did not force Yen Yi to change her weapon. Done. Controlling the magnetic force, he sucked the baseball bat from Yen Yi's hand. Change it on the fly. The baseball bat became liquid at a rate visible to the naked eye and began to lengthen. From the original round baseball bat. It turns into a stick-shaped weapon with 4 sides, similar to the dragon's mace. The length is also just over a meter from the original. Extend to 1 meter 5. It's still short. I'll give you some more, Chu Xiu said. I felt that the length was still not enough, so I stretched out my hand and went directly from the tractor at the door of the private house. Pulled off a large piece of metal and added it back. In this way, the length of the whole mace has reached a little over 2 meters. But there is a threaded structure in the middle of the mace. As long as you twist a few turns, the long mace will be divided into 2 and become 2 short mace 1 meter long. Besides, the overall weight is 80 kilograms. You must know that the King Lang Yanyu saber in the 3 kingdoms is only 82 pound. In other words, the weight of this mace is almost twice that of the Yanyu knife. Come on, try it out. After the transformation was completed, Chu Xiu manipulated the magnetic force and threw the mace to Yen Yi. Yen Yi caught it effortless. Try waving a few times the long mace wearing as if splitting the air. It's useful. The weight gain was just right. I thought the stick was lighter. Yen Yi finished the trial and was very satisfied. Nice. You love it. Go in and find something to eat. Chu Xiu finished. The first to enter the house. As soon as he came in, a family photo of only 3 people was introduced into his eyes except for the pair of middle-aged zombies who were killed just now. There is also a smiling girl. About the same age as Yen Yi. Probably 10 years old. I'll go to the kitchen. You go upstairs and see if you can find her change of clothes. Chu Xiu glanced at the girl in the family portrait and said, this girl's figure is similar to Yen Yi's. Her clothes. Yen Yi should be able to wear it. Oh, okay. I'll go up right now. Yen Yi was a little lost. Only after being called by Chu Xiu did he react. Obviously, Yen Yi thought of herself when she saw the photos on the wall. She is the same as the girl in the photo. Both parents are in the countryside, working hard to provide for her only daughter to study abroad. Go get some clothes. Chu Xiu shook his head. Go to the kitchen. As soon as he came in, Chu Xiu smelled the smell of the food going rancid. Looking at the smell, I saw a dish of overturned dishes on the gas stove. On the table next to it, there were also vegetable bowls and a few sets of tablour. The food inside was already spoiled. Wait, 3 pairs of chopsticks? Looking at the tablour and chopsticks on the table, Chu Xiu froze for a moment, realizing that something was wrong. 3 pairs of chopsticks. Could it be that when the doomsday broke out, the girl in the family portrait was also at home? If she's at home, why were there only 2 zombies attacking us just now? Chu Xiu noticed something different. Chu Xiu. At this time, Yen Yi, who was supposed to go upstairs to find clothes, suddenly ran into the kitchen. Said nervously, upstairs? Someone upstairs? A living person? No. I'm not sure, but it should be a living person. Yen Yi frowned. It seems hard to describe what I just saw. Chapter 38 Wailing Banshee. Class C Mutant Zombies. What does it mean to be alive? Chu Xiu also frowned. A living being is a living being. What should it be? She has her back to me, and I only see her back. I tried shouting twice, but she didn't respond, and I felt like she was crying. Yen Yi tried to explain. I brought up the back figure I saw just now. For some reason, Yen Yi suddenly felt a little creepy. The girl was squatting in the bathroom upstairs. Turn your back to the door. Shoulder shrug slightly, seemed to be crying. Go and have a look. Hearing the word crying, Chu Xiu was not sure what Yen Yi saw. But one thing is already 100% certain. That is, whatever it is, she will not be alive. At least not a living person in the normal sense. Chu Xiu followed Yin upstairs. As soon as I got up, I heard the sound of sobbing in the bathroom. Soft voice. Like a little girl who was wrong. Following the voice, Chu Xiu was in the bathroom and saw the living person. Yin said. Facing the door. The slender back trembled slightly and seemed to be really crying. Little sister, don't cry. Little sister, we are not zombies. Yin tried to call the back. Still no response. Don't try, she can't hear you. Yin just wanted to try again, but Chu Xiu stopped her. You go back first. Chu Xiu finished. He reached out and turned on the bathroom light. Pat the moment the light turns on. The figure in the bathroom seemed to be activated. The body hadn't moved, but his head was spinning half a circle. The neck is twisted 180 degrees. The head turned to the back strangely. A pair of pale eyes stared straight at Chu Xiu, who turned on the light. It's the girl in the family portrait. At the next second, the girl's mouth widened and her chin opened to an exaggerated angle. Showing a mouth full of fangs. You have disturbed the width. Seeing the girl's change, Chu Xiu suddenly remembered a zombie game he played a long time ago. There is a zombie in it that looks exactly like this girl. You have disturbed the width. That's the hot stalk of that game. But Chu Xiu knew that the girl in front of her was not some fictional witch. It's a real mutant zombie. What the hell is this? Wailing banshee. During Yin is questioning, Chu Xiu revealed the girl's true identity. At the same time, the wailing banshee, who was awakened by the light, had already locked Chu Xiu, accompanied by a sharp howl. The banshee bent her head 180 degrees and recovered instantly. The petite body burst out with astonishing speed, go straight to Chu Xiu, and swung a pair of claws in the air. Those sharp fingernails, like steel knives, glowed with cold light. Go away. Chu Xiu gave a light drink. The metal latch on the wooden door on the side was torn off in an instant. With a large plank. Hit the wailing banshee like a cannonball. Thump. The banshee was hit hard. The petite body flew upside down, smashed the toilet behind him, and smashed the ceramics all over the place. The next second, the wailing banshee was like nothing. He got up without a moment's pause and used all fours to climb up the smooth wall. Just when the banshee was about to pounce on Chu Xiu again, Yin moved. She divided the long mace in two and turned it into two double-wielded short mace. Go straight to the bathroom. Seeing Yin rushing in, the wailing banshee crawling on the wall, she immediately shifted her target. He rushed towards Yin. Claws break the air. He grabbed it straight towards Yin's face. If this time is caught, immortality is also disfigurement. Get out of here. Seeing this, Yin was also angry. Putting the two mace together, like swinging a bat. Swing it with all your strength. Clang. The double mace and the claws of the banshee collided in the air. Makes a metal crashing sound. The next second, the double mace smashed the sharp claws, and the castration hit the banshee unabated. Boom. The howling banshee flew upside down like a cannonball. With a bang, the thin walls of the bathroom and the adjoining bedroom were smashed open. Dusty. Broken bricks splattered all over the place. The screaming banshee fell into the next bedroom, rolled several times in a row, and stopped when it hit the wardrobe. She still isn't dead. Just a broken arm. The banshee slowly got up. A pair of pale pupils without the slightest anger stared straight at Chu Yin and the two who were following. The piercing scream resounded again. The banshee's bloody mouth is big enough to stuff an adult's head into it. Mouth full of sharp teeth exudes a stench. It's time for you to brush your teeth. Following Chu Xiu in the bedroom, when he raised his hand, it was a lightning bolt with a thick arm. Directly smashed the wailing banshee that just got up again. Boom. When the banshee lands, the clothes on his body have been completely burned by the violent electricity. The delicate white skin inside was also scorched by a large piece. The smell of barbecue permeates. The banshee wanted to get up again. Chu Xiu's face was expressionless. He raised his hand, and another flash of lightning flew past. The electric current continued to bombard the small body of the banshee. The electricity made her tremble. Before the shock was over, Chu Xiu glanced at the metal security window on the side window. For a moment, The railings of the security windows are like thin snakes, drilling into the house along the cracks of the windows quickly wrapped around the wailing banshee. Tie it tightly. Give it to you. Chu Xiu finished. He sucked the wailing banshee and threw it at Yin Yi's feet. Then he went downstairs without looking back. Oh, Yin Yi was stunned for a moment. Then, without thinking about it, he raised the short mace in his hand. Yin Yi kills SSSS-level mutant zombies. Wailing banshee. EXP plus 200. Chu Xiu just arrived downstairs. I heard the system prompt sound in my mind. The experience of zombies is really much less. Chu Xiu shook his head. The previous D-level monsters, the limb receiving fragments, all had up to 1000 experience points. The C-rank wailing banshee is only 200. According to this trend, it should be monsters, fierce beasts, zombies. Chu Xiu had a general order in his mind. In general, the amount of experience value is based on strength. The stronger the strength, the more experience points. Forget it. Let's see what to eat. After a simple understanding of the experience value problem, Chu Xiu didn't think about it anymore and went back to the kitchen to start rummaging. Chapter arrived at Hushan prison. Quite friendly. After eating and drinking, Chu Xiu and Yin Yi once again set foot on the road to Hushan prison. But this time it's not too far. From the navigation point of view, it is about 10 minutes away. You searched for a long time and then changed into this dress? Chu Xiu rode the holly and complained about Yin Yi's changing clothes at the same time. Yin Yi sitting in the back seat. He had changed out of the blood-stained t-shirt and wore a very dirty floral shirt instead. It's the kind that middle-aged women love to wear in this suit. Yin Yi looks like a little village girl. What can I do? The little sister looks similar to me in the photo. How can I know that she is so thin in reality? Yin Yi said helplessly. The younger sister in the photo, the wailing banshee just now, is at most 1.5 meters tall and looks like malnourished. Flat can't be flat. The closet is full of the smallest clothes. Yin Yi couldn't wear it at all. I can only find a piece of clothing with a sense of age from the girl's mother's wardrobe to put it on. And I'm not showing you what I wear. Why? You don't think it looks good? Yin Yi lay on Chu Xiu's back and deliberately showed off her floral shirt. With a smug smile on his face. Dress like this threats like stop and find a house depending on how still you are. Squeak. Not proud of 2 seconds. Chu Xiu suddenly squeezed the brakes and the Harley slowly stopped halfway. What's wrong? Yin Yi looked puzzled. Can't you hear my heart? There are snipers. Chu Xiu looked at a reflection on the signal tower in the distance and said coldly, sniper. Yin Yi was also shocked. Just when she looked up to see. Boom. Gunshots sounded. Faster than the sound of a gun is a bullet. In an instant, he came to the front and hid 1 meter in front of the Harley motorcycle. A few pieces of rubble were stirred up. In fact, Chu Xiu can magnetically stop the bullet in midair before it hits the ground. Why didn't you do this? It is because Chu Xiu sensed the bullet's flight path. Not pointing to himself or Yin Yi. Interesting warning, right? Chu Xiu turned his attention to the signal tower not far away, and a sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. At the same time. On the signal tower, a man with a sniper rifle picked up the radio on the side. Notify the leader that someone else is coming. 1 man and 1 woman. The sniper finished. Immediately afterwards, there was a response on the radio. What does the girl look like? On the other end of the radio, a man could not wait to ask. He opened his mouth and asked what the girl looked like. Don't ask the man at all. It's too far to see my face, but I'm wearing a dirty floral shirt. It should be a middle-aged woman. The man on the signal tower raised his gun and looked at Yin Yi with a sniper scope. Then report back. TMD, it's this kind of junk again. The voice on the radio seemed disappointed, cursing. Then he said angrily, okay, I then informed Thin Monkey that they have passed. Done. The radio snapped off. Soon. A converted prison van drove in the direction of Chu Xiu. The car stopped. 5 or 6 men with guns came down. Surrounded Chu Xiu and Yin Yi. Stop, this is Hushan Refuge. Are you the survivors who came to take refuge? A man as thin as a monkey stepped forward and asked, yes, I heard that you have 3 abilities here. Is that true? Chu Xiu went straight to the subject. What? Thin Monkey was stunned when asked. Because other survivors who come here usually ask, is it safe? Is there food? Is there accommodation? And the like point. But in order to keep these two people, Thin Monkey answered Chu Xiu's question truthfully. Of course it's true. Two of the three abilities you mentioned are still our leaders. The reason why our Hushan refuge is so safe is because they are there to protect. The skinny monkey's cliché has not finished. Chu Xiu waved his hand. Okay, needless to say, take me there. Chu Xiu interrupted. The Thin Monkey's tone was stagnant. After taking a deep look at Chu Xiu, he waved to a few subordinates beside him. Several people came over immediately. Reach out to Chu Xiu and Yin Yi. That, brother, to be safe, we have to temporarily collect your weapons. Wait until you pass the security check. Make sure you haven't been bitten by zombies. We will return it to you as is. The Thin Monkey explained with a smile on his face. Chu Xiu smiled but didn't say much. He nodded and motioned Yin Yi to do as they said first. I don't have a weapon on me. If you don't believe me, you can search. Chu Xiu really didn't lie. There was indeed no weapon on him. Since the control of the magnetic field has been upgraded to LV3, Chu Xiu has not even carried a flying knife in his pocket except for a coin. Today's Chu Xiu, with just one thought, all the metal around him will become his weapon. Hi brother, look at what you said. What to search for? We are mostly just going through the motions. No way, it's a rule. Thin Monkey looked at Chu Xiu and felt that there was no room for weapons on Chu Xiu. He pretended to be helpless. Set up almost. Here, take it. At the same time, Yin Yi also handed his trump card to Thin Monkey's subordinates. The two men disagreed. Reach for it. Boom. The moment Changmi started, the two men were taken to the ground by surprise. F***K. This stick has to weigh 200 pounds. Right. 80 kilograms. Long mace. The two of them worked together to barely lift it up. This sudden scene also made Thin Monkey and others notice Yin Yi. Sigh. After seeing Yin Yi's appearance, the crowd froze. At first, they saw that Yin Yi was dressed in soil, but they didn't pay attention at all. Take a look now. What is this middle-aged woman? She's just a female star on TV. These guys who were in prison, who had seen this kind of beauty, stared at each one directly. Cough cough. It was the Thin Monkey who reacted first. With a light cough, his attitude suddenly changed 180 degrees. That, brother, it's dangerous outside. Hurry up and avoid the refuge with us. The skinny monkey said impatiently. Heh, what? Unsafe check? Chu Xiu smiled. Asked back. No, it's all said. It's just a formality, and I don't think you look like you were bitten by zombies, so the inspection is exempted. Hurry up and get in the car and avoid the refuge with us. Food and hot water are readily available. You must want to take a bath and sleep. Right, Thin Monkey no longer says that there are some or not. He just kept encouraging Chu Xiu and the two to get into the car with them. Need not we ride motorcycles by ourselves. Chu Xiu did not get into their prison van. Prison van after all. Ominous. Also, then, brother, you go ahead and I'll show you the way with a horn in the back. The skinny monkey hesitated. Still nodded. Seemingly afraid that Chu Xiu would go back and run away halfway. He chose to drive behind him. Walk. Chu Xiu ignored this trick of the Thin Monkey. Carrying Yin Yi. Drive forward. When passing the signal tower, Chu Xiu suddenly glanced up. F***K. Why is this guy looking at me? Scare labor and capital. The sniper on the signal tower was terrified. Almost dropped the gun. Just as he was about to smoke a cigarette, a piece of iron on the tower suddenly fell off, like a bullet. Fly straight towards him. Chapter 40 Tons of metal. Chu Xiu, why are you being so polite to them? On the motorcycle, Yin Yi leaned into Chu Xiu's ear with a puzzled face. With your character, shouldn't those few people just get out of the car and die? And you seem to have spared the sniper who shot at us just now, right? Yin Yi looked puzzled. With what she knows about Chu Xiu. If these people can live one more second in front of Chu Xiu is slow to start. How Do you know that the sniper isn't dead? Chu Xiu asked in a flat tone. What? Died? When did this happen? Yin. Yeah, didn't he have the magnetic field to control? So naturally he couldn't detect Chu Xiu's method point. With Chu Xiu's current ability point, it is too easy to kill an ordinary person within 100 meters. It can be done completely without knowing it. I'll just say, how could you possibly let that sniper go? If you have revenge, you will report it on the spot. That's just like you, Yin. Yeah, he said with an expression of I'm not wrong as expected. No, in your heart, am I a butcher who will kill anyone? Chu Xiu rolled his eyes and said in a bad breath, if not, Yin. Yeah, he finished speaking point. Seeing Chu Xiu's face darkened, he immediately smiled and hugged Chu Xiu from behind. Just kidding you. Tell me, how do you want to kill them later? At this time, Yen Yi also guessed it. There must be a reason for Chu Xiu to keep these people. They should have guessed that you are the awakened. That guy named Thin Monkey will definitely notify the matter up. At this time, if you were their leader and heard that there was a female awakener in the base, she was so pretty, what would you do? Chu Xiu asked. Then you must come and see for yourself, Yin. Yi replied without hesitation. Done was stunned. Wait, did you just say I'm pretty? Well, this is the first time you compliment me. Yin Yi blushed. Directly shyly lay on Chu Xiu's shoulders. Chu Xiu was silent. Women's focus is really different. On the other side, as Chu Xiu expected. On the prison van. As soon as the Thin Monkey got in the car, he took out the radio and reported it excitedly. Hey, I'm a skinny monkey. You are all wrong. Notify the leader that the one who came just now is not a middle-aged woman at all. It's a little beauty. It is estimated that he is not yet 20 years old. It's very beautiful. It's hard to see at a glance. Thin Monkey holding the radio, very excited to report. Correct. If nothing else, this woman seems to be a power user. Extremely powerful. I took an iron rod, which is estimated to be 200 jin, and only 2 people can lift it together, the skinny monkey said. So spittle. Although he knew that such a superb beauty would definitely not be his turn point, but as a discoverer the credit is definitely indispensable. He, the schoolgirl who came last time, is probably me. Thin Monkey thought happily in his heart. Soon. A response came over the radio. Real or fake beauty, or a female awakener? Skinny monkey, are you afraid that you are not hallucinating? What Scorpion told us just now was a middle-aged woman. The other party did not believe the words of the Thin Monkey at all. The Scorpion in his mouth is the sniper on the signal tower, and now people are cold. Exactly. I vouch with my left hand. Definitely a beauty. Better than a star on TV. The skinny monkey said whatever, and even used the curse. This made the superiors believe it. Good. Then I will report to the leader immediately. Haha. Thin Monkey, you have made a great contribution this time, and you will not be without your benefits. On the radio, there was a man's happy laughter. The skinny monkey also laughed. A car full of people laughed along, and there was a happy atmosphere inside and outside Hushan prison. Brother, turn left ahead. It's coming soon. Inside the prison car, the Thin Monkey held a horn and leaned halfway out of the car. He took the trouble to show Chu Xiu, who was riding a Harley in front of him, the way. Under his guidance. Soon, the walls of Hushan prison appeared in front of Chu Xiu. Have to say. This place is really out of place. Without the guidance of the Thin Monkey, Chu Xiu would not have been able to find this place for a while, just based on the coordinates given and the broadcast. After all, there is no specific location of the prison on the map. Small popular science civilian maps will not show the specific location of the prison, nor can it be navigated close to Hushan prison. Chu Xiu discovered the gang's transformation of the prison. I have to admit that a person who stole a battery car is really right, and everyone here is really talented. The original walls of Hushan prison were very high. There are also sentry towers on the wall. It is already a good place to defend against zombies. As a result, this group of people did not know which construction site. They brought in a lot of scaffolding steel pipes. Then Using these steel pipe racks, a few more watchtowers with a height of more than 10 meters were built on the open space of about 50 meters outside the prison. Men with guns stand guard at every watchtower. Plus there is a large open space around the prison. Standing on the watchtower, you can completely monitor the surrounding 2 or 3 kilometers. These prisoners have a lot of ideas. Chu Xiu could not help but let out a sigh, but at the same time it's kind of funny again. When he came, he also said that he would collect the weapons, but turned around and found tons of metal in front of the house. Chu Xiu felt that he only had one thought: these watchtowers made of steel pipes will collapse in an instant into tons of metal. You sit for yourself, Chu Xiu. Look at those people. It seems to be a survivor of the previous supermarket. Yin Yi suddenly pointed in a direction and reminded I saw that in the open space outside the prison, a man was trampled on the mud and beaten, and there were several people in the same situation beside him who were also beaten. Yin Yi recognized it. These people seem to be finding survivors in an Ichi supermarket. Well, it's them. Chu Xiu also recognized it. I didn't expect these people to move very fast, and when they came to Hushan prison, they really came. I just missed one night. Not a delay. After all, I fought with Yin Yi all night long, but in any case, Chu Xiu was only one day late, and this group of people actually rushed ahead of him. It's a pity that coming early didn't bring them any benefit. Looking at the few people who were beaten down on the mud, Chu Xiu shook his head. Then look away. Drive straight to the entrance gate of Hushan prison. Going through the wire mesh, he finally stopped in front of a heavy metal gate. PFFD. Another ton of metal is in front of you. Chu Xiu really couldn't hold back. Laugh out loud. This place is a magnet master's paradise. Chapter 41. Haha. Sorry, I remember happy things. Cough cough. After laughing, Chu Xiu coughed lightly. Pretend nothing happened. He turned his attention to the sentry tower above the metal gate. On the tower a brawny man covered in tattoos caught Chu Xiu's attention. Don't get me wrong, Chu Xiu looked at him only because he sensed a strong biomagnetic field. Looks like this is one of them. Chu Xiu's eyes locked on the strong man, and he began to concentrate. Name: Zhao Lihuas *X. Male. Talent: Precision Throwing LV2. Seeing Zhao Lihua's talent, Chu Xiu couldn't help shaking his head. Not to say that this ability is not possible. Only no matter how accurate the throw is, can it turn? Alas, trash. Chu Xiu sighed. Yin Yi, who was behind him, was stunned. Who was he scolding? At the same time, Zhao Lihua on the sentry tower finally saw the best in the thin monkey's mouth. A pair of greedy eyes stared straight at Yin Yi. As for Chu Xiu, he selectively ignored it. Because the thin monkey has already said in the report. Only this woman is an awakened, and the man doesn't even have a weapon. 9 times out of 10, he is a rubbish who eats soft food. Seeing that Yin Yi is actually hugging this trash. Zhao Lihua's heart suddenly burst into anger. I'll find a chance to drag the man down and chop it up. At food to the pigs. Zhao Lihua found a subordinate and quietly ordered. The pig in his mouth is the survivor who came to defect in the past 2 days. These people were deceived by the radio, thinking that the future was guaranteed, but in the end they lived a life worse than death. Okay, go down and open the door for them. Soon. The prison door slowly opened. As soon as the door opens, a dozen prisoners armed with firearms rushed out. They surrounded Chu Xiu. Zhao Lihua himself walked down the sentry tower and followed behind the prisoners. He wants to meet his own beauty in person. For the first taste. He didn't even inform the other chiefs of the prison, only to enjoy the first get off. A dozen prisoners surrounded Chu Xiu and pointed their guns at Chu Xiu's forehead. But no one aimed at Yin Yi. It is estimated that these prisoners also understand that this woman is a treasure of the leader. If the gun goes off, no one can take responsibility. What are you doing, Yin Yi was extremely surprised. Although she knew that this place was run by a group of prisoners, if she came here with Chu Xiu, it was inevitable that there would be a big battle. But the problem is this war coming too soon? Haven't entered yet. Are you going to start blocking the door? Cough. Cough. Don't worry, beauty, this is not against you. Hearing Yin Yi's question, Zhao Lihe immediately pretended to calm down. A full-faced face. He forced out a disgusting smile. Don't worry, beauty, your friend will be fine. I asked him to be taken down so that he could be accommodated and fed. As for you, I've got steak and wine. Just while talking, Zhao Lihe walked towards Yin Yi. From start to finish, he completely ignored Chu Xiu next to him. A trash who relies on a woman. It's not worth taking another look at him. However, just when Zhao Lihe passed by Chu Xiu's icy voice suddenly rang out. So, you didn't notify the other two, is it right? Originally, Chu Xiu didn't kill the slender monkeys to save trouble. It is to let the thin monkey tip off the news, gather the 3 awakened ones, and save them one by one. Result: Chu Xiu ignores the greed of human nature. Who told you to speak? Before Chu Xiu was angry, Zhao Lihe was the first to be unhappy. He was already killing Chu Xiu. Seeing that Chu Xiu dared to question himself, without saying a word, he took out a flying knife from his pocket. The threat is full. Haha. Chu Xiu laughed in anger. Flying knife, still metal. At the same time, the movement at the gate also attracted the attention of others around. Not far away. The inmate who was beating the supermarket survivor stopped. All focus on. Seeing the leader Zhao Lihe showing his flying knife, these people understood that this young man riding a motorcycle might not be able to see the sun tomorrow. But the next second, they saw Chu Xiu sneer. F***K. Is that person crazy, brother? Who has already pulled out a knife. He is still laughing. I'm afraid there is something wrong with his brain. Hi. New arrival. I don't know how powerful our brother Hua is. That's right. How do you say that? A newborn calf is not afraid of tigers. Several prisoners who were tired from beating others gathered around and watched the excitement with delight. A few survivors who were beaten all over by them. Pull the head out of the mud. I also saw Chu Xiu and Yin Yi not far away. It's him, the one who stole our slimes. The pupils of several people instantly widened. Different from others, they had seen Chu Xiu's abilities with their own eyes and knew how powerful Chu Xiu was. Could it be that, looking at the tense atmosphere not far away, the originally desperate eyes of several people gradually gained a little vitality? Beauty, why don't you avoid it first? The waiting scene can be ugly. Seeing that the trash in front of him dared to laugh at himself, Zhao Lihe completely had murderous intentions. Can't wait for my subordinates to deal with it. He's going to kill Chu Xiu now. The voice just fell. PFFT. Yin Yi really couldn't hold back. She burst out laughing. What to do? Chu Xiu. Should I listen to him or not? Avoid it first. Ha ha ha. Yin Yi tried her best to be serious, but ended up laughing even louder. She smiled. The originally tense atmosphere immediately became weird. Okay, just laugh on the side. Doing the right thing. Chu Xiu was also a little speechless. After he finished speaking, he pushed Yin Yi aside. TMD. When labor doesn't exist, right? Zhao Lihe was thoroughly enraged. He directly threw the flying knife in his hand at Chu Xiu. Have to admit, Zhao Lihe's throw is indeed very accurate. Through magnetic field induction, Chu Xiu analyzed that the flying knife was precisely shooting at his left eye. Pity. Chu Xiu snorted coldly. The incoming flying knife stopped instantly like a frozen photo. What? Zhao Lihe, who saw this scene, was instantly stunned. But he reacted quickly. You are also a power user. While shocked, Zhao Lihe quickly took out another flying knife from his pocket, but before it's thrown out, Zhao Lihe suddenly felt a sharp pain in his waist. I lost my strength in an instant. Take a look at the clothes. But I found that the other flying knives in the pocket actually moved out of thin air. A stab in the waist, like a meat grinder. It got into the meat and began to stir the flesh and internal organs. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. Instant? Is it teleportation? What? Zhao Lihe knelt down in pain. To make his pain last longer, Chu Xiu also deliberately controlled the flying knife, avoiding Zhao Lihua's key organs, first crushing the stomach and then stirring it up a little bit. Those who were cut in half could live another half an hour like Zhao Lihua. How can you last 10 minutes? Stop. This kind of pain has long exceeded the limit of human endurance. Zhao Lihua started to hit the ground with his head in pain. Trying to pass myself out. Answer to questions and I can make your death easier. Chu Xiu said in a flat tone. However, at this time, more than a dozen prisoners with guns around had already reacted. Although it is not clear what means Chu Xiu used to defeat Zhao Lihua. But there is not only one leader in the base. Therefore, you must not stand idly by. Otherwise it will not be easy to deal with the other two leaders. Let go of our brother Hua, quick, otherwise, the labor and capital will shoot you down. A dozen prisoners pointed their guns at Chu Xiu. Threateningly. See Chu Xiu dismissed. If you say shoot, shoot, bang bang bang. The gunshots rang out all of a sudden. Chu Xiu. Seeing this scene, Yen Yi also became nervous and rushed over, trying to stop the bullet for Chu Xiu. But the next second, Yen Yi found herself worrying too much. A bullet, after being fired, is less than a slap from the muzzle. Stopped suddenly, without exception. All were frozen in midair. Immediately afterwards, the bullets turned slowly, and the sharp section slowly aimed at the prisoner who shot. Garlem. I don't know which prisoner was so scared that he swallowed. Next second. The bullet zooms in quickly in the eyeball. Do not, accompanied by screams. In an instant, more than a dozen prisoners fell together. Death as a bullet in the eyebrows. Can you answer my question now? Chu Xiu didn't even look at the corpses around him, his eyes still on Zhao Lihua. Kill me, please, kill me. Zhao Lihua no longer wanted to live. Head bang bang hit the ground. He just wants to die now. First question, apart from you, where are the other two awakened ones in your base, those with abilities? Chu Xiu seemed to be unable to hear the waiting. Began to ask. Zhao Lihua knelt on his knees with his head on the ground and looked at the watchtower behind Chu Xiu. He seemed to be begging the people on the tower to save him. Or beg the tower man to shoot himself. But no matter what he was thinking, the next second, a scene that made him desperate happened. Answer me. Chu Xiu stretched out his hand. Hold it in the air. Rumbling in an instant. Several watchtowers built with steel pipes seemed to be destroyed by some invisible force. Suddenly collapsed to the ground. A steel pipe is plugged straight into the earth. The people on the watchtower screamed and fell freely. Some smashed into erected steel pipes immediately penetrated through the body. The blood flowing. Died. Too much land red in a moment. Seeing this scene, Zhao Lihua finally understood what kind of enemy he was facing. Boundless despair welled up in my heart. The big boss led people out to collect supplies. The third should be in prison at this time. Zhao Lihua endured the excruciating pain and answered Chu Xiu with difficulty. It seems that you are the second child. Chu Xiu smiled and asked a second question. What are their abilities? The big abilities. Leader can turn the body into steel, invulnerable to swords and guns. Zhao Lihua's face was pale. The speech was also slurred. What about the other one? The third child he can instantly. As Zhao Lihua spoke, blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. The blood was also mixed with finely chopped internal organs. You kill the LV2 awakened. EXP plus 500. Current EXP 2661. Is this dead? If you knew it earlier, it would have been slower. Hearing the sound, Chu Xiu shook his head helplessly. I didn't expect Zhao Lihua to be so unbearable. He didn't even last 5 minutes now. The movement caused by Chu Xiu has caused chaos inside and outside the prison. The siren has sounded. Standing at the door, you can hear the shouts of the people inside and the sound of fast running footsteps. Apparently they were preparing for battle for the enemy attack. And outside the prison. With the collapse of several watchtowers, there was already mourning everywhere. The prisoners who were lucky enough not to die were also frightened by Chu Xiu's methods. Among them were several prisoners who had just beaten Hua. Brother Hua died. They originally just wanted to watch the fun, but now everyone is stupid. What to do? Or just lie on the ground like them? Several people stared at each other. Still a clever young prisoner He hurriedly lay on the mud floor and pretended not to see anything. Others follow suit. He hurriedly lay beside the survivor he had just beaten. As for revenge for brother Hua, do not make jokes. Don't dare to give them 10 more courage. These people can play dead, but the thin monkey on the other side has no chance. On the prison van. A thin monkey who was just thinking about what reward he would get for his great deeds. People are stupid now. I can't wait to dig a tunnel and escape as far as possible. After all, he was the one who brought Chu Xiu here. Come down. The skinny monkey didn't have time to think about it. I saw Chu Xiu in front of him beckoning to him. Even with 10,000 reluctance in his heart, thin monkey could only cry and walk over. Brother. No. Big brother. Big brother. The thin monkey's words just came out, and he reacted and changed his words quickly. You. What are your orders? The skinny monkey stammered when he spoke. If he can, he can't wait to give Chu Xiu a knock now. Take me to your 3 leaders. Chu Xiu said solemnly. Before Zhao Lihua died, he said what happened to the last power user. Instant. It can't be a teleportation ability, can it? If it is true, then you can make a lot of money on this trip. This thing is much rarer than haste abilities. You looking for the other 2 leaders? No problem. I know where it is. Hearing Chu Xiu's question, thin monkey can be considered a clever person. Anyway, they are already leading the way. Simply bring it to the end. Come with me, brother. With a flattering smile, the thin monkey turned his body sideways and walked into the prison gate first. Chu Xiu did not hesitate. Followed. Before leaving, he held his right hand in the air. Squeak. A converted prison van parked behind a Harley Davidson motorcycle. Suddenly squeezed by an invisible force. It turned into a pile of discus in an instant. A dozen people inside were killed instantly. These people are all the subordinates of Thin Monkey, and they have spoken rudely to Chu Xiu and Yunyai before. I'll just say it, that's your style. Here. Movement from behind. Yunyai can guess what happened without looking back. Secretly pouted. Not much to say. No matter what Chu Xiu does, she will support it unconditionally. Chapter 43 Flash. The Thin Monkey also probably guessed what happened later, but no complaints. Matt, a group of people who have suffered thousands of knives, die if they die, as long as they live. Big brother. Walking into the prison, the Thin Monkey just wanted to talk. The whole person froze. Behind the gate of the prison is a wide square, which is also a place where prisoners usually ventilate. Only at this moment. There are dozens of guns, big and small, pointing at the 3 people who walked in. Thin Monkey and Chu Xiu. Everything from pistols to shotguns, rifles, even on the walled sentry tower. There are also 2 light machine guns and an RPG rocket. You looted the armory? Chu Xiu was also surprised by the weapons of this group. The Thin Monkey nodded with difficulty. He didn't understand why Chu Xiu was pointed at by so many weapons, and he could still ask questions lightly. No matter how strong you are. Is it possible that it is strong enough to block so many bullets at the same time? Yes. It was found by the big boss. I heard that only a part of the weapons was brought back, being pointed at by so many guns. The skinny monkey's legs began to tremble. But he answered honestly. At the same time. People inside the prison saw Chu Xiu entering the encirclement. Among them, a man with glasses and a gentle looking man suddenly waved his hand. Fire. He gave an order. Dozens of guns were around, and the trigger was pulled almost simultaneously. F***K. It's me. The Thin Monkey was so frightened that he lost his soul. But he said nothing. Those who can be imprisoned in Hushan prison are not good men and women. If you say shoot, shoot, without hesitation. In an instant, gunfire erupted inside the prison. The bullets shot towards Chu Xiu and others like a shower. If this is hit. It is estimated that people will directly become a sieve. If you just went out and took a look, you wouldn't be stupid enough to keep using guns. Facing the incoming bullet, Chu Xiu just stretched out a hand. For a moment. The magnetic field energy forms an invisible barrier. Bullets that enter it are like falling into a quagmire, and their speed drops sharply. It's getting slower and slower. Finally point all the bullets stopped 1 meter in front of Chu Xiu's palm. The bullets of yellow, orange and orange are squeezed together to form a wall of bullets that keeps getting thicker. Grass. This guy is a power user. Quick, go. Get the bazooka. Seeing that all the bullets were stopped by Chu Xiu, the prisoners panicked. Point a prisoner on the fence. Point picking up the rocket launcher, ready to aim and launch. But Chu Xiu obviously won't give him this chance. Now, give it back to you. After Chu Xiu finished speaking, he waved his hand. Point the bullet wall in front of him split instantly, and the densely packed bullets shot at their masters. Do not. The scream stopped abruptly at almost the same time. Immediately after, like a collapsed domino, dozens of prisoners fell together, including those on the fence. Their bodies are full of holes. The bullet fired by himself was beaten into a sieve. There were corpses all over the square. Almost all of them died. Only the man with glasses who ordered the fire at the beginning was nowhere to be seen. Hey, where did the glasses you ordered just now go? Chu Xiu frowned. This person was still in the crowd just now, but the moment he launched the attack, the person disappeared. There are no signs. It seems to evaporate out of thin air. Skinny Monkey, who was the one who ordered the fire just now. Chu Xiu dragged the thin monkey over and asked, "What the?" Skinny Monkey was terrified. Point I haven't recovered from the sound of gunfire yet. I ask you, who was that guy with glasses just now? Chu Xiu said with emphasis. The Skinny Monkey, who had reacted, was so frightened that he hurriedly replied. He is the new 3 leaders. It's really him. Is this guy's ability really teleportation? Chu Xiu frowned. Point. If it is really teleportation, it is estimated that at this moment, people have no idea where the teleportation has gone. I knew I wouldn't scare the snake out of the grass. Just when Chu Xiu thought that the man with glasses was gone in an instant. Sudden. Chu Xiu feels like being watched. He turned his head abruptly and found the owner of his gaze behind an iron window in the prison building. It was the man with glasses who just disappeared. Yee, you keep here. After Chu Xiu finished speaking, he rushed towards the building without hesitation. Grass. The man with glasses found himself exposed and scolded. Just wanted to move the location. Boom. The metal gate of the building flew out with a bang. I have to say that this place is really friendly to Chu Xiu. The magnetic field controller, almost every door is metal. As soon as Chu Xiu rushed into the building, he found the man with glasses standing in the cell on the right side of the entrance and put on a running posture. Stop. Chu Xiu shouted loudly while paying attention. Get ready to check out this guy's properties panel. However, before waiting for the system, the face of the man with glasses was exhibited. Swish. The glasses man disappeared instantly. There was only a wisp of strange blue smoke left in place. Really? Teleport? Chu Xiu was very surprised. He was 100% sure it wasn't stealth, because the glasses man's biomagnetic field also disappeared. Appears again. The next second, Chu Xiu sensed the man's biomagnetic field again. Another cell just a few meters away. Quickly rush over. Sure enough, I saw a man with glasses in this cell. In addition to him, there are several male survivors in the cell, all covered in bruises. He was dying in the corner of the wall. The cell was filled with household garbage. Excrement has already filled the toilet and even overflowed from it. The whole cell is filled with a disgusting stench. The man with glasses who teleported in suddenly had nowhere to go. At this time, Chu Xiu's figure appeared at the door again. This friend have something to say. We don't have any deep hatred either. There's really no need to chase after me. Seeing this, the man with glasses cursed secretly and tried to negotiate with Chu Xiu. When speaking. He has been watching Chu Xiu vigilantly. Put on a stance of walking away without a word. Okay, then come out first. Chu Xiu saw this. The iron gate was not opened the first time. Instead, he took the opportunity to expand the attribute panel of the man with glasses. Name, Wang Langtaos *X, male, talent, primary flashing LV1, primary flicker, blink. What's the difference between teleportation and teleportation? Just when Chu Xiu showed a puzzled expression. Wang Langtao in the cell, sensing the opportunity, disappeared again in an instant. There was still a wisp of blue smoke left. UMD. Chu Xiu cursed secretly. Chapter 44. This is the rescue you are waiting for. Finished scolding. Chu Xiu immediately spread out the magnetic field energy point. Sure enough, in another cell a few meters away, Wang Liangtao was found again. Strange. Why isn't this thing a little farther away? Chu Xiu sensed the problem. If only to escape. Why didn't this guy just teleport to a place a few hundred meters away? In this case, there is no way I can find him again. Unless he can only go so far in an instant. No wonder it's called flickering. Chu Xiu had the answer in his heart. He hurriedly walked towards the cell a few meters away. Because of the delay of a few seconds just now, when Chu Xiu came over, Wang Liangtao was no longer in the cell. There were only two middle-aged women with no clothes left inside. His eyes were slack, without the slightest brilliance. Chu Xiu glanced at the two of them and said nothing. The induction range of the magnetic field spread further, and soon Wang Liangtao was found in the deepest part of the detention area. Chased again. Boom. The iron gate slammed open. Wang Liangtao, who saw him again, was out of breath, sweat beading on his forehead. Flashes multiple times in a row, let his mental strength exhausted. Why do you have to chase me to the death? We don't have any big grudges. Wang Liangtao leaned his back against the wall and looked at Chu Xiu, who was walking slowly, his eyes full of despair. He felt himself flickering no matter what. Wherever the flicker goes, the man in front of him who manipulates the magnetic force can find himself accurately. It's like pressing a tracker on yourself. It was originally no hatred, but if you run again, there is hatred. Chu Xiu said in a bad tone. Go ahead while talking. Do not. Wang Liangtao shook his head. His eyes changed from despair to madness. When Chu Xiu walked in front of him, Wang Liangtao disappeared again with a puff of blue smoke. Through the induction of biomagnetic fields, Chu Xiu found that Wang Liangtao had left the building and was in the outdoor space separated by a wall. You asked for it. Chu Xiu took a deep breath. Opened the iron door on the other side and walk out. As soon as he came out, Chu Xiu saw Wang Liangtao smash the window glass next to him with a punch and bent down to pick up a piece of debris. Do you think I'm afraid of you? What? Wang Liangtao took off his glasses. The original gentle temperament disappeared like a beast that was driven to a desperate situation. Hysteria. Don't think I don't know a power user like you. Wang Liangtao held the glass shard tightly. Even if the fragments cut the palm, it did not loosen. A pair of blood-red eyes stared at Chu Xiu's throat. The flesh is very fragile. Wang Liangtao's voice just fell. People disappear instantly. Only a wisp of blue smoke remained. At the same time, Chu Xiu smelled danger the moment Wang Liangtao disappeared. The body dodged aside without thinking. In fact, Chu Xiu's fighting skills have always been strong. It's just that, after having magnetic field control and lightning control, there is no need for melee combat, and it is impossible to show skills. Swish. Almost in an instant, Wang Liangtao reappeared, the glass shards in his hand, stabbed hard at Chu Xiu's original position. No doubt, stab in the air. Wang Liangtao turned his head in astonishment. However, he found a pair of fists that were rapidly expanding in his eyes. Chu Xiu seems to have predicted Wang Liangtao's next move. Not only did he dodge ahead of time, but he also threw a punch at the original position. This caused Wang Liangtao to flicker, like he was touching porcelain, and he appeared in front of Chu Xiu's fist. Grass. At this moment, Wang Liangtao smelled a strong breath of death. He realized that he had been punched, must die. Before he could think about it, Wang Liangtao reacted instinctively. Disregarding the mental power that was on the verge of collapse, he forcibly used the ability and flashed again. Boom. Chu Xiu fell with a punch, but only a wisp of blue smoke cleared. Wang Liangtao's figure flickered to a few meters away, and the person was already shaky, and he could not stand still. He couldn't even hold a weapon in his hand. The glass fell to the ground and shattered. What's the point? Sucker punch? Have to admit, Chu Xiu was really annoyed by this guy. Like a special loach, it can't be caught. But it also means, how useful is this stuff? Cough. Cough. Wang Liangtao coughed out a mouthful of blood, and his nostrils began to bleed. Chu Xiu knew. This is a side effect of mental overdraft. It didn't make sense. Wang Liangtao said, looking at the sky not far away. A helicopter is flying over here. There is now. The voice just fell point on the helicopter. A tall figure opened the side door and jumped straight down and let out a roar in the air. Who dares to make trouble in my Hushan prison? Boom. With the roar, the figure fell like a cannonball and a deep pit was smashed. The splash soil was over a meter high. Immediately after, a burly man with a height of more than 2 meters came out of the deep pit. Skin looks metallic. Every step made a metallic clang. At first glance, it looks like a 2-meter tall metal statue striding forward. Chu Xiu simply sensed the incoming person through the magnetic field. His expression suddenly became weird. Don't tell me it's this the rescue you've been waiting for. Why do you say it's because of the strong man who fell from the sky? Not only looks like a metal sculpture, the conclusion given by magnetic field induction. He is covered in metal all over his body, a veritable man of steel. Have you forgotten what my abilities are? Hearing Chu Xiu's words, Wang Liangtao suddenly remembered something. A pair of pupils stared at the boss. Brother Kayang, don't come here. He will manipulate. Wang Liangtao hasn't finished speaking yet. Chu Xiu grabbed his throat with one hand and lifted it up like a chicken. Wang Liangtao kept struggling. But Chu Xiu's hands, like iron tongs, could not be opened at all. Copy. Chu Xiu's voice just fell. Almost instantly, the system beep sounded. Copy successfully. Talent. Primary blink LV1. The moment the beep ends, Chu Xiu didn't hesitate at all. A hard click. Wang Liangtao's throat shattered in an instant, and his feet, that were kicking all over the place, settled down. You kill LV1 awakened. EXP plus 200. Chu Xiu threw it away. Wang Liangtao's body was thrown out like a garbage. Don't forget, Chu Xiu's power is several times stronger than Yin Yi. Throwing a person is like throwing a piece of paper. I will kill you. The strong man who saw this scene was instantly furious. Chapter 45. It turns out that you are a human-shaped steel furnace. The strong man who came in a hurry was still a step behind. When he arrived, he happened to see Wang Liangtao's body, which was thrown by Chu Xiu. I kill you. The strong man is furious, like a walking tank. It rushed towards Chu Xiu. Dong dong dong, the earth trembled under its feet. Chu Xiu still stood there, as if he hadn't seen it, as if thinking about something. The strong man roared, and rushed over the palm of the fan-sized palm, grabbed towards Chu Xiu's head. Labor and management are going to crush your head. The strong man growled. Just when the palm was about to touch Chu Xiu. Swish. Chu Xiu disappeared instantly. There was only a strange wisp of blue smoke left. A brawny man, swept away by anger, grabbed it empty. Looking at Chu Xiu, who disappeared out of thin air, the strong man was stunned. That's how it is when you're flashing. You have to focus and figure out where you're going, or keep an eye on where you're going, otherwise it might get stuck in the wall. At this moment, Chu Xiu's voice appeared behind the strong man. The strong man turned around quickly. Sure enough, he saw Chu Xiu behind him. You, how did you do it? The strong man was stunned. How do you know Wang Liangtao's ability? Chu Xiu raised a finger to his mouth. The strong man was about to speak. Suddenly I found that I couldn't open my mouth no matter what. It's like the lips are welded to death. Strong man wants to move. Then I found that my body couldn't move. No matter how hard you exert yourself, your body won't obey. As if there was an invisible force that locked him firmly in place. I can't even blink my eyelids. Like a real lifeless metal sculpture. Although the body can't move. But the heart of the strong man was already terrified to the extreme. The anger at the beginning was gone. Only the fear of unknown forces remains. No wonder that guy flashes only a few meters away every time. It turns out that the flashing of LV1, the limit distance is only 5 meters. Chu Xiu is also testing newly acquired abilities. Finally came to a conclusion. The primary flash of LV1, the limit distance is only 5 meters. And there's a more than 1 second usage interval. There is no way to achieve seamless continuous flashing. System. How much experience do I have now? Current. EXP. 2861. So much. Chu Xiu was also surprised. I didn't expect that I had accumulated so much experience along the way. Raise. Primary flicker to LV3. The rich and powerful Chu Xiu decided to do it in one step. Ding. Consumes 100 experience, and the primary flicker is increased to LV2. Ding. Consumes 1000 experience, and the primary flicker is increased to LV3, accompanied by a beep. 2 energies, one weak and one strong, poured into Chu Xiu's body one after another. Chu Xiu, which has undergone several upgrades. I quickly got used to this energy. Name. Chu Xiu system level. 1 strength. 151 agility. 32 plus 22 physique. 79 energy. 186 plus 22, talent, magnetic field control LV3, Julie LV3, maximum, lightning control LV3, primary flicker, maximum, use slot. 4/5, subordinate, Yin loyalty 100, experience. 1761, read the changes in the properties panel. Chu Xiu found. Up to the primary flicker of LV3, the improvement in numerical value is not large. The value of the two upgrades adds up to only 44 points. There is no other ability that provides a big improvement in a single upgrade. But that's not surprising. The primary flicker is similar to the girls underwater breathing before, and both belong to the skill type innate ability. Upgrading this kind of talent is more about improving the strength of skills rather than enhancing its own attributes, but the potential of primary flickering is not high. Looking at maximum behind the primary flash, Chu Xiu couldn't help shaking his head. Same as giant. After the primary flicker was upgraded to LV3, it also came to an end. Unable to continue ascension. Try to see if the flickering distance improves. Chu Xiu closes the properties panel. Looking ahead. Focus begins to point. Next second disappears instantly. Then it appeared in the open space more than 50 meters away. 54 meters. Can it go any further? Chu Xiu used the magnetic field to measure the distance. Then flash again. Swish. This time, Chu Xiu flickered directly to a place 60 meters away. 65 meters seems to be the limit. Chu Xiu stopped. He had a feeling that if he forcibly flashed farther, he would probably be torn apart by the unstable space in the process. But a distance of 60 meters is already very powerful. Chu Xiu is also not greedy. Moreover, the upgraded flicker is not just as simple as increasing the distance. The original use interval of more than 1 second. With the upgrade of the ability, it was also reduced to a few tenths of a second. That is to say, as long as Chu Xiu wants to, he can complete 4 or 5 flashes in 1 second, displace 200 or 300 meters in 1 second. With my current mental power, I can blink more than 20 times in a row. For combat use, it's more than enough. Chu Xiu simply estimated the loss of mental power. Satisfied nodded. With this ability, you no longer have to worry about lack of mobility and being kitted. Blinks after testing. Chu Xiu was ready to leave. Yeah, I almost forgot about you. A pat on the forehead. Then I remembered that there was still a metal statue to deal with. The strong man at this time was already extremely fearful in his heart. He felt like his body was on strike. No matter what the brain commands, the body was motionless. Name. SSSS-level. Male. Talent. Metallization LV2. Irreversible. Upgrade by eating high strength metal. Another irreversible one. After reading the attributes of the strong man, Chu Xiu shook his head. The last irreversible guy was bestialization. The final result should be to become an irrational humanoid lizard. In comparison, this guy's ability is much stronger. Although it is also irreversible, it will not lose its mind, and it can be upgraded by eating other metals. How did you eat metal? Bite hard? Chu Xiu couldn't help but wonder. The voice just fell. Shi Zhenqiang realized that he could speak. But the body is still out of control. What did you do to me? Why can't I move? Shi Zhenqiang, who was finally able to speak, hurriedly asked. The greatest fear of mankind is the unknown. Stop talking nonsense and answer my question first. As Chu Xiu said, he directly manipulated the magnetic force and tore off one of the strong man's arm. Surprisingly, the blood in Shi Zhenqiang's body, it even has a metallic color like mercury. Although Shi Zhenqiang's body turned into metal point, but still feel pain point, he screamed when he lost his arm. That's right. That's right. I can eat metal like a meal. With knowing, Shi Zhenqiang was really shocked by Chu Xiu. Point responded in pain. Interesting. Chu Xiu nodded. Point awakened people are really strange. Even this kind of hanging ability. Then, what did you pull after eating? Shi Zhenqiang was taken aback by the question. Point he couldn't understand the brain circuit of this devil in front of him at all. Impurities. Impurities in the metal. See? Chu Xiu's bad eyesight. Point Shi Zhenqiang didn't dare to delay, so he answered quickly. Oh, so you are a humanoid refining furnace. Chu Xiu thought thoughtfully. Chapter 46. What is attribute restraint? After figuring out the abilities of the strong man, Chu Xiu walked around him and suddenly had a bold idea. Mind a move. Magnetic field energy is released. The broken metal arm on the ground automatically flew back to the strong man's arm. Connect up. Thank you, big Shi Zhenqiang just wanted to say thank you, big brother. Not finished yet. Point the whole person froze. Point under the control of Chu Xiu's magnetic field, his metal body is deforming at a speed visible to the naked eye. Point if Shi Zhenqiang is a metal sculpture. Point that Chu Xiu's magnetic field energy is like a fusion of furnace and mold. The shape of the sculpture can be changed at will. You. What did you do to me? Although Shi Zhenqiang couldn't move. Point, but he could feel his body being deformed. Muscle lines are gradually disappearing. Then point something is missing. Something more. No. You. Shi Zhenqiang was terrified. Point the originally rough voice began to become shrill. Are you the devil? Accompanied by a desperate question. Point the statue of the strong man disappeared. Point in its place is a female metal statue nearly 3 meters high. Come, take a walk and see if there is any discomfort. Chu Xiu said. Point untie the magnetic field that has been binding Shi Zhenqiang. Do not. No. When Shi Zhenqiang was free, his whole person was like crazy. Point head down. Point checked 3 or 4 times in a row. Point in the end, he believed in reality and slumped to the ground with a face of despair. Boom. The heavy body shuddered. You. Shi Zhenqiang pointed at Chu Xiu desperately, as if he had 1,000 words. In the end, not a word was spoken. It seems that changing your appearance will not affect your activities. Chu Xiu walked up to Shi Zhenqiang. He or she, who is nearly 3 meters tall, is as tall as a person sitting down. In this case, maybe I can try to change your memory too. Chu Xiu stood in front of it. If you think about it, human memories are stored in the hippocampus of the brain. Maybe I can destroy it first. Makes you forget. Find a way to implant new ones. Chu Xiu was still muttering to himself. Shi Zhenqiang, who was slumped on the ground, was so scared that his soul flew away. Devil. This man is the devil. Don't talk about turning yourself into this ghost. You have to do something with your own brain. Shi Zhenqiang couldn't sit still any longer. Kneel directly to the ground. Brother, take my life. I'm willing to be a cow and a horse for you. From now on, what do you want me to do? Dang. As Shi Zhenqiang spoke, he banged his head on the ground. Point he kept kowtowing to Chu Xiu. Brother, even if you let me die, I will never complain. But please, turn me back. I don't want to die like AB ***ch. Big brother, talking. Point Shi Zhenqiang wailed. Point in the words, the hatred for women is revealed from the heart. Point even if I die, I don't want to die as a woman. Chu Xiu saw this. Know that the purpose has been achieved. Point in fact, he doesn't have any means of implanting memory. It's just scaring. Point, but making Shi Zhenqiang amnesia can be done. Point as I said just now, as long as the magnetic field is manipulated to smash the hippocampus. But doing this, Shi Zhenqiang became a vegetable. Point a statue man at best. Point what value does this have for Chu Xiu? Sounds like you hate women. Chu Xiu released a magnetic field, interrupting Shi Zhenqiang, who kept kowtowing. Asked at the same time. I was jailed because of women. Unable to kowtow, Shi Zhenqiang had no choice but to raise his head and answer. Oh, tell me. Chu Xiu came to be interested. That B***** ch cuckolded me and found out. Take this pair of dogs and men with a knife. Shi Zhenqiang recalled the past, and the more he talked, the more excited he became. Stop it. Before Shi Zhenqiang finished speaking, Chu Xiu interrupted his speech. You call it a prison for murder, really? Chu Xiu shook his head. I thought it was a drama framed by a woman, but it turned out to be a better drama. Brother, this is the situation. You turn me back. I will be your little brother in the future. You let me go east, I will never go west. Shi Zhenqiang said. Bang Bang nodded again. It's a pity that the system has not been upgraded, and Shi Zhenqiang's loyalty cannot be seen. But judging from Shi Zhenqiang's performance, Chu Xiu estimates that this guy's loyalty is about the same, even if it's not 90. Okay, you can follow me. Seeing that the intimidation was almost over, Chu Xiu nodded. But don't use the name Shi Zhenqiang, it's too ugly. In the future, you will be called Colossus. Chu Xiu remembered a certain series of movies he had seen before. There is also a man who can turn into steel, and his name is Colossus. So he gave Shi Zhenqiang this name, Jiaman. Shi Zhenqiang obviously hadn't heard of it. But I also feel that the name fits my abilities. You haven't seen the movie? Chu Xiu said in surprise. What movie? No. I've been squatting for almost 10 years. Shi Zhenqiang, who should be called Colossus or Colossus, shook his head and said, fine. Chu Xiu said no more. The energy of the magnetic field was vented out, and soon the steel man was restored to its original appearance. Most of the two have disappeared. It was the same, but Chu Xiu didn't add it to him. Nonsense belongs to yes. Thank you bro for changing me back. Thank you bro. Colossus apparently figured this out too. But he didn't complain at all. What about nonsense? Thank goodness, as long as it's not a B******ch. No. Thanks. Let's go. Looking at the nonsense and thankful Colossus, Chu Xiu has the feeling of bullying a fool. Shook his head. Take Colossus towards the square at the entrance of the prison. Dong dong dong. Colossus immediately followed. Heavy steps. Every step makes the earth tremble. Chu Xiu simply sensed it with a magnetic field and concluded that the weight of this product started at more than 300 kilograms. Where did that helicopter come from? Chu Xiu asked as he walked. If I remember correctly, this guy jumped out of a helicopter when he appeared. The medical plane of the second hospital. There is a guy in the room with me who was a pilot of the second hospital before. Colossus answered truthfully. P.S. Rest assured, Colossus is just a simple tool man, Tai Han Han, who will not enter the inner circle, a pure thug belonging to the second and third echelons. P.S. The core characters of this book are only women. All over the place. All received. Chapter 47. Those who obey me will prosper, those who go against me will perish. The two walked along the outer path. Back at the main gate of the prison, Chu Xiu, Yin Yi, who had been guarding the door, saw Chu Xiu. Immediately ran over. If Chu Xiu doesn't come out again, she's ready to rush in to take a look. I'm fine here. Chu Xiu's words. Yin Yi is hanging hard. Finally let go. Turn around. She saw Colossus striding forward, and she looked puzzled. Chu Xiu, who is he? I just received. Before Chu Xiu finished speaking, the skinny monkey not far away also saw Colossus frightened. He immediately stood up. Big boss, just got up. The thin monkey felt that the atmosphere was a little wrong. Looking at it again, I found that the big leader actually followed Chu Xiu like a bodyguard. The thin monkey suddenly froze in his heart. Broken. Seems to be wrong. Boss, do you want me to kill him? Seeing that the thin monkey dared to interrupt Chu Xiu's words, the steel man immediately walked up to him. Picked it up with one hand. What the? Skinny monkey, who was about to beg for mercy from the big chief, heard him call Chu Xiu boss. People were momentarily stunned. What happened? Why did brother Kiang call this guy the boss? Thin Monkey had 10,000 questions in his heart, but he didn't even dare to put a fart on his mouth. Keep it, I think this kid is quite clever. Chu Xiu waved his hand point signal the Steelers to come back. The Steeler nodded point immediately released the skinny monkey, turned around and retreated to Chu Xiu's side point seeing that the Steelers were so obedient. Chu Xiu nodded with satisfaction point then walked towards the skinny monkey. Skinny monkey, you have been squatting here for a few years. Chu Xiu walked over to Thin Monkey, looked down at him and asked, 5 years. The Thin Monkey did not dare to hide it and answered honestly, 4. What? Group point organize. MLM. Thin Monkey answered quickly point he didn't understand why Chu Xiu asked this. If you've been a MLM practitioner for 5 years, then you should be familiar with Hushan prison. You also saw your old boss. Now you call me boss, so what do you think you should call me now? Chu Xiu looked down at the Thin Monkey and asked, big brother, skinny monkeys have fast brains in the end. I found the answer from the old Hong Kong films I watched before. Big brother, if you have anything for me to do, just tell me. My little brother will definitely finish going through fire and water. The skinny monkey, who understood the name, immediately knelt on the ground, expressing loyalty. Chu Xiu saw this. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. It's easy to talk to a smart person. He just asked 2 irrelevant questions, and the guy guessed that he had something to do for him. Let's put it this way, skinny monkey, I won't stay here forever, and your boss, Colossus, I will also take it away, so the rest Chu Xiu did not say point, but the skinny monkey clearly understood. Guru. He swallowed in disbelief. Big brother, are you going to hand over the Hushan base to me? But I have no experience in this area. The skinny monkey is flattered point a little reluctant to accept this task. Aren't you a MLM? Do you always have management experience? Chu Xiu looked at him and said, Can. Thin Monkey just wanted to say, MLM and base management are not the same thing. He saw the steel man behind Chu Xiu, glaring at him with his eyebrows crossed. He was so frightened that he swallowed the words immediately. No problem. Big brother, I promise to help you manage the base properly. The skinny monkey shouted daringly. By the way, your management model has to be changed. Chu Xiu suddenly remembered something, then asked, before, how did you deal with the survivors after you tricked them over? Referring to the stubble, a trace of embarrassment appeared on the Thin Monkey's face point. After all, at the beginning, he brought Chu Xiu over with the same arrangement in mind. It's such that men come here, no matter the 3721, beat them to death first. This is called Li Wan Wei. Those who are willing to join us, we will let them kill each other, and only those who have killed others will we allow him to join. As for women, Thin Monkey glanced at Yin Yi next to him, and did not continue point. But what happened to these women point? Anyone who is not stupid can guess. Yin Yi's tone was stagnant point. Even if you are mentally prepared, you know that people who come here will definitely have no good end. But the cruelty of reality is beyond Yin Yi's acceptance. Change the way later, regardless of gender, age, and age. Each person must carry at least 10 kilograms of supplies before they are allowed to join the base. After joining the base, the men must go out twice a week to collect supplies. Women go out once a week. The open space in the prison should also be used so that the elderly and children can grow vegetables in it. Chu Xiu commanded in one breath. This management method is also the management mode of most bases in the future. Make the most of human resources. Put an end to all useless people who eat dry rice. Let everyone who stays at the base contribute to the operation of the base. No problem. After listening to Chu Xiu's arrangement, the Thin Monkey, who had no clue about the management of the base originally, point all of a sudden there is a direction. Don't worry, big brother. I can definitely manage the Hushan base now. If something goes wrong, you just Thin Monkey assured. Don't worry. Now, I guess you can't even handle the remaining prisoners. Before Thin Monkey could finish speaking, Chu Xiu waved his hand point, then he looked at the Colossus behind him. Steelman, you follow the skinny monkey for a walk. Help him stand up, Chu Xiu ordered. No problem. Colossus did not hesitate. Without saying a word, he stood beside the Thin Monkey. Guru, see this scene. The skinny monkey suddenly understood what is called fake tiger power accompanied by Colossus soon. The Thin Monkey gathered all the living people inside and outside the prison, and after some operations of killing chickens, to show the monkeys completely secure the position of acting leader. Listen, I'm just the acting leader, and this is our great leader. The leader of Chu, Skinny Monkey's our smart point. As soon as he settled down, he introduced Chu Xiu in front of everyone. Good leader, point. The prisoners below shouted in unison point, especially the survivors who were originally caged, shouted hoarsely point when they learned that they were rescued because of Chu Xiu. Everyone was filled with gratitude. Of course point, there are people who are not grateful point. The bodies of those people are piled up a few meters away, waiting to be burned. The world is so cruel point. Those who obey me are prosperous. Those who oppose me die. Let's go. Leave the rest to the skinny monkey. See, everything is in order. Chu Xiu was too lazy to stay here and just wanted to hurry back to Yijiang Garden. Okay, boss, the helicopter has been arranged, Colossus said immediately. Point PS. Hushan Base is the beginning of the road to domination. Asterisk asterisk. Chapter 48. I just drank a little. When Chu Xiu and his party set out on their journey back to Yijiang Garden point, it's past 4 o'clock in the afternoon point. When we came, there were only 2 people, Chu Xiu and Yin Yi, and a Harley motorcycle point. When coming back, more nonsense. Steel as the vehicle they ride has also changed from a motorcycle to a medical helicopter. In order to make more room for Chu Xiu 3 people, the focus is on the steel man who is more than 2 meters high. And the medical equipment in the helicopter has been dismantled. Point correct. There was one more person on the way back. Point helicopter pilot. What Chu Xiu didn't expect was that this guy was actually an old man in his 50s or 60s with grey hair. Looks amiable. Point it is hard to imagine that such a person would end up in Hushan prison in his later years. Old Zhang Tao, what did you come in for on the helicopter? Chu Xiu asked boredly. Point old head. Point that's what Colossus has always called the old man. That's right, chief. I accidentally drank before taking off and had an accident, killing 3 people. Old Zhang was a little scared of Chu Xiu and stammered and replied. After listening to the old man's answer, Chu Xiu was speechless. No more talking. Point Yin Yi, who was sitting next to Chu Xiu, was speechless when she heard Lao Zhangtao's answer. You say you are a pilot who drives a medical helicopter. What are you drinking? And still drink it during work hours? Old man, you drink during working hours. No one cares. Yin Yi wondered. Stolen. Point drinking secretly. The old man was a little embarrassed. Yin Yi was speechless just then. Her cute little nose sniffed, as if it had smelled something. Why does the plane smell like alcohol? As soon as this word comes out. Point the 3 people in the helicopter were stunned. Point then, invariably, he turned his gaze to the old man, who was flying the plane. Boss, I only drank a little. Really, just a little. Absolutely out of the way. I promise. The old man was so frightened that he promised again and again. Fortunately, the flight of the helicopter is really smooth. In the end, Chu Xiu said nothing. After all, this thing, you come up when you come up, and you have no other choice but to trust the pilot. Point just when the 3 of Chu Xiu took the helicopter to return quickly. Point the other side. Point a fully armed convoy was heading towards Yijiang Garden. Point there are 4 vehicles in total. Point leading the charge was a military armored vehicle with a shovel. 2 military jeeps followed. Point in the end it was a regular van. This is army in Yijiang Garden. Point on the roof of a villa closest to the road, Li Qiu month holds the telescope. Point he was watching the oncoming convoy. Point through the binoculars. Li Qiu discovered that more than half of the convoy were soldiers with live ammunition. Point on armored vehicles and jeeps, all soldiers in camouflage with rifles. On the van were some ordinary survivors. There are also some stacked supplies around. Should be ordinary people shouldn't be able to get these equipment now. Chen Miao on the side also nodded. Point for a short period of time. Point it is difficult for ordinary people to get a large number of standard equipment into specifications. Only regular troops have it. They seem to be coming for Yijiang Garden. How to do you want to let them in? Look at the convoy coming straight ahead. Point Chen Miao knew that she could not be the master, so she looked at Li Qiuyu with inquiring eyes. Facing Chen Miao's inquiry, Li Qiuyu answered with practical actions. She put down the telescope and a thunder light appeared in her pupils. I don't care who they are. Don't even think about stepping in today. Li Qiuyu's tone was firm. Pointer at the moment. Point it has already revealed a hint of the courage of the future thunder goddess. Just because when Chu Xiu left, he said, don't let anyone in. Li Qiuyu made up her mind. You have to go and stop this convoy with guns and ammunition on your own. At the same time. Point the arriving convoy also arrived at the entrance of Yijiang Garden. Wait for the old little one. Take a group of survivors and go in to collect supplies. Little Li, take someone to protect you. If you find survivors inside, try to take them with you. In the jeep, a tough guy with a Chinese character face gave an order on the walkie-talkie. But Captain, we are no longer allowed to bring the survivors back. The base is full. Also, the materials we collected can't feed so many people at all. Soon. Pointer. Young man's helpless voice came from the walkie-talkie. Stop talking nonsense, Xiaoli. Have you forgotten the oath you swore before the flag? The tough guy ignored the young man's dissuasion. Point determined to bring back any survivors who may be found. I didn't forget. Point. But, alas, on the walkie-talkie, the young man wanted to say more and finally sighed. He swallowed the words that came to his mouth. Okay, Xiaoli, it's not like you don't know our team's character. You let him die. That's worse than letting him die. Haha. See, the atmosphere is wrong. The other fighters in the convoy began to adjust the atmosphere. Yes, Xiaoli, it's a big deal. Let's take people back and be scolded. And I've long seen that the gang of people in the base are upset, especially those old guys. I feel like they are less and less like soldiers. There is no blood at all. That's right. I think so. Several soldiers seemed to think of something, and the more they talked, the more angry they became. Enough. One by one. What are they like? Don't hurry down and collect supplies. Team Zhang, who has a national character face, roared with a straight face. Yes, the group got out of the car immediately. Point divide into two teams. Just when they were about to enter Yijiang Garden. Point boom. A few fingers thick lightning cut through the air and suddenly flew from the front. Lightning fell on the open space directly in front of the two teams. Point hit the ground. Point leaving a blackened trace of the electric shock. Enemy attack. Ready to fight. A young soldier was startled and took his gun ready to fight. The other fighters also raised their guns. Aim in the direction of the lightning strike. Don't shoot. Don't shoot. No. Shooting. At this moment, Team Zhang, who got out of the car, waved and shouted point because he saw the owner of this lightning bolt. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49, The Solicitation of the Southwest Base. Don't shoot, team. Zhang rushed out of the car while letting the surrounding soldiers put down their guns while looking at the entrance of Yijiang Garden. Point under his gaze, a beautiful figure came out from behind the door holding a wire in his hand. Point it is Li Qiuyu month. If Chu Xiu is present now, you can find that Li Qiuyu's lightning control has risen to LV2 level. Point can borrow the surrounding electricity. Point that's why she pulled a wire over there. Stop. Li Qiuyu was madly absorbing the energy in the wires, her eyes filled with lightning. Her hair is stimulated by electric current. Automatically get up without wind. She is an awakener. Alert. The few soldiers who saw this scene immediately raised their guard. Point and there is a point. It is different from the name of the people in the Hushan base. Point these warriors have begun to use the term awakened to refer to people with supernatural powers. Just as several fighters all raised their guns and went into a state of alert. Point boom. A young and smaller fighter, due to nervousness, accidentally pulled the trigger. Who made you shoot? Team Zhang, who heard the gunshot, snatched the little soldier's gun. But it was too late. The bullet has been shot towards Li Qiuyu. At the critical moment, Li Qiuyu reacted instinctively. Point energy just absorbed. Point had turned into several arm-thick electric currents and blasted forward indiscriminately. By mistake. Point the current actually creates a tiny magnetic field. Point under the influence of the magnetic field. The bullet was deflected and eventually landed on a tree a few meters away. Be careful. At the same time. Point several indiscriminate electric snakes continued to move forward. Point several soldiers hurriedly threw themselves around, evading the deadly electric current. No shooting. No shooting. After the crisis was lifted, Team Zhang shouted loudly for the first time. Point try to stop the contradiction from continuing to expand. Point the other side. Li Qiuyu also did not continue to attack. Point she was now confused by the magnetic field that had just appeared. Point just now, she noticed that there was a force that she couldn't control in the current. Point a very small and very weak magnetic field. Point although soon disappeared, but it is indeed a magnetic field. This is what Chu Xiu said. Is electricity generating magnetism? Magnetism generating electricity? Li Qiuyu remembered what Chu Xiu said before. There is a sense of enlightenment, but I can't seem to control it. At the same time, Li Qiuyu also discovered it. The magnetic field generated by the current is completely an uncontrollable force that she cannot control at all. Maybe I'm too weak, Li Qiuyu explained secretly. Point then, he looked at the soldiers who were standing up slowly not far away. Point zizzy electricity appeared in her palm again. Point Team Zhang discovered this and quickly stood up. Take it easy. We are not predators. No ill will towards you either. We came here just to collect supplies. We didn't even know you were here. Team Zhang explained to Li Qiuyu. Li Qiuyu also found that these people did not seem to be malicious, but she still did not let her guard down. Point because she remembered Chu Xiu said, the stupidest thing in the end of the world is to trust people's words. I don't care what your purpose is. In short, leave quickly. There's nothing you want here. Li Qiuyu was alone and stopped in front of dozens of heavily armed soldiers. No retreat. But looking at the soldier with the national character in front of him, he stopped the people under his hands several times. For the sake of not being allowed to shoot, Li Qiuyu thought for a while. Point decided to point out a place for this group of people. If you really just want to collect supplies, I suggest you go to Changwen Road, where there is a supermarket for you to collect. Li Qiuyu said in a cold voice. Point although last time they emptied the supplies in the warehouse. Point, but there are still some food, water, and living necessities on the shelves of supermarkets. Changwen Road. Hear what Li Qiuyu said. Point a look of embarrassment appeared on Zhang's face. N. In this place you mentioned, there are a group of very cunning beasts. Before we, well, I lost several brothers there. Team Zhang said helplessly. With the large-scale migration of beasts in the city, there are fewer and fewer places to safely collect supplies. In order to reduce the casualties of soldiers without any choice. Point Team Zhang could only lead the team to collect supplies in the remote suburbs. This is also the main reason why they came to Yijiang Garden today. Then, you should have gone before. It's safe now, Li Qiuyu said coldly. Now she finally understood why the survivor in that supermarket had a gun in his hand. It is good. I'd like to believe what you say. At this time, Team Zhang also understood. The female awakened in front of her, no matter what, will not let herself and others enter the community. Point to avoid conflicts. Fearless casualties occurred. Point Team Zhang decided to lead the team to leave here and collect supplies in another place. By the way, this N. Before leaving, I hope you can promise me one thing. Before leaving, Team Zhang went through a lot of thought. Point he turned back to Li Qiuyu again. Say, Li Qiuyu said coldly, I haven't introduced myself yet. My name is Zhang Xianio, and I'm a soldier at the Southwest Base. Here, on behalf of our Southwest Base, I invite you to join us. The current Southwest Base is facing a shortage of manpower. After finally encountering a powerful awakener who can control thunder and lightning, Team Zhang naturally does not want to give up. We're underdefended right now, and we desperately need someone like you. Stop. I refuse. Before Team Zhang could finish speaking. Li Qiuyu rejected in point consideration without consideration. Don't, comrade, think about it again. Team Zhang wanted to say something else, but saw the girl in front of her already turned her head. Point stop listening. That's fine. See? Li Qiuyu's resolute attitude. Point Team Zhang said no more. Point, but he still didn't want to give up, so he grabbed a walkie-talkie from the jeep. Point put it in front of Li Qiuyu. The channel has been set. If you change your mind, you can call directly on this channel and we can receive it anytime. Finish. Saying this, Team Zhang sighed. Point reluctantly. He took the team and left Yijiang Garden on the original road. Team Zhang, the awakened person just now, should we report it? On the way out of Yijiang Garden, a little soldier in the jeep couldn't help asking. They have orders when collecting supplies, although it is not allowed to bring ordinary people back. But if an awakened person is found, according to the order, it is necessary to report the situation to the base. I won't report this time. I feel something is wrong with the base lately. The awakener died inexplicably not long after he returned to the base last time. I don't want this little girl to have an. I feel that her abilities have great potential, and the future may be human. Team Zhang hasn't finished speaking yet. Point a soldier next to him suddenly pointed to the sky not far away and shouted, Team Zhang, there is a battle in the sky. Team Zhang heard the words immediately. Look up. Point I saw that in the sky not far away. Two winged demons were flying around a medical helicopter. Point seems to be looking for offensive opportunities, but the next second, something seemed to fly out of the helicopter like two pieces of iron. Instantly killed these two winged demons. Then point the iron piece miraculously flew back into the helicopter, as if nothing had happened. Only the corpses of two winged demons fell from the sky. Another awakener? Team Zhang was stunned. Chapter 50 Information on the corpse tide. Who was that person just now? On the helicopter. Chu Xiu also noticed the armored convoy passing below. Couldn't help but wonder. Judging from the travel path of the convoy, this convoy seems to be coming from the direction of Yijiang Garden. Go back quickly. Chu Xiu gave an order. The helicopter accelerated and fell towards Yijiang Garden. Point. Although the old man drank a little wine. Point, but the driving skills are still fine. Point soon, the helicopter landed precisely on the apron in Yijiang Garden. Point as a top residential area with an average price of tens of millions. Yijiang Garden has a dedicated apron. Old Zhangtao, is there enough fuel for the return flight? Enough, chief. After the helicopter landed, Chu Xiu patted Liu Zhangtao on the shoulder before getting off the plane. Just this, pilot. The value of the old Zhangtao is still quite large. That's fine. Fly high when you go back, so you won't be attacked by beasts easily. Thank you, boss, for your concern. The old man was flattered. Point seeing this, Chu Xiu didn't say anything more, turned around and walked out of the helicopter. Get off the plane. I saw Li Qiuyu standing not far away with a vigilant look on his face. After seeing that the person who got on and off the plane was Chu Xiu. Point vigilance in the eyes, it suddenly turned into a surprise. Chu Xiu. Li Qiuyu pounds directly. Point the cold and ruthless appearance in front of outsiders all disappeared, and the bird nestled in Chu Xiu's arms like a human. Point until I saw Yin Yi get off the plane. Point then he blushed and let go. It's okay, Qiuyu, hug you. Yin Yi, who is still guilty, dares to say more. Point get off the plane. Minimize your presence as much as possible. Yi, you'll be fine. Li Qiuyu, who has calmed down, has the nerve to continue her actions just now. Point back to being a good girl. Point standing quietly beside Chu Xiu. Point dang at the same time. Point the Steelers also got off the plane. Point without even looking at the few people present. He always stood behind Chu Xiu like a bodyguard. Point not a word. There is a security room at the gate of the community, and you will be there to guard it from now on. Chu Xiu pointed in the direction of the entrance of the community and instructed. Yes. After the steel man heard it, he said nothing. Taking heavy steps, he walked in the direction Chu Xiu pointed. Every step, the ground trembled slightly. I don't know. I thought it was some kind of high-tech robot. This is a human? Li Qiuyu asked uncertainly. But don't worry, just let it guard the gate. Chu Xiu did not introduce much point to him. The Steelers are just a simple thug and toolman point, not going into the inner circle at all. By the way, Qiu, I just saw a convoy on the plane. It seems to have left us. Chu Xiu remembered the convoy he saw just now and asked, well, I was about to tell you this. It's like this. Li Qiu remembered and hurriedly repeated what happened just now in detail. It's no small matter for fear of missing some key information. Southwest base. Chu Xiu frowned. The Southwest base was the first base he joined after escaping from the city in his previous life, and it was also the place he recommended the mother and daughter to go before. Has the situation gotten so bad even the people from the Southwest base have to run this far to collect supplies? Chu Xiu's expression gradually became solemn. Asked, Qiu, did they say anything to you when they left? Well, yes. Li Qiu nodded and took out the walkie-talkie that Team Zhang left behind from his pocket. The captain surnamed Zhang wants to invite me to join their base. It seems because the defense is not strong enough, so recruit awakeners like me. Others, it seems to be gone. Li Qiu recalled hard. It's a pity that the rejection was too fast at that time, so the captain surnamed Zhang had a lot to say. The information obtained is not comprehensive. Not enough defense? Chu Xiu took the walkie-talkie, frowned, and became thoughtful. He seemed to remember something. His expression suddenly became extremely serious. Looking back at the helicopter that had not yet had time to take off, he hurriedly shouted, "Old Zhang Tao, turn on the radio. Tune into the 91.1 band. Quick." Chu Xiu ordered. Lao Zhang Tao on the helicopter was startled and quickly followed Chu Xiu's instructions to turn on the radio and tune to the corresponding frequency band. Zizi, accompanied by cluttered radio murmurs, an intermittent voice came from the radio. "Survivors near H cities easy. When you hear Zizi this loop broadcast, please run away. I observe through satellite. The zombies in the city are rioting our massive corpses toward Zizi." The sound on the radio ends here. After a few minutes, the same paragraph was broadcast again in a loop. The corpse tide. The zombies in the city formed a corpse tide. Yin, Yi and Li Qiu both heard the key points mentioned in the broadcast. Not the scale you think. Chu Xiu shook his head. His face was solemn. He didn't rush to explain, but first waved at Lao Zhang's head, indicating that he could fly away. The helicopter took off slowly. It soon disappeared over the Yijiang Garden. The permanent resident population of H City is more than 4 million. After the end of the world, about half of them have become zombies, even excluding the survivors who were bitten. The number of zombies in the city, it's also as high as more than 2 million. Chu Xiu didn't talk about the corpse tide first, but slowly said a statistic. But the two women listened. His face had become terrified. Chu Xiu, please don't tell me a 2 million corpse tide has gathered in the city. Yin Yi's face turned pale. 2 million. The number was beyond her imagination. Is this still a corpse tide? Dead Sea. It's not as exaggerated as 2 million, but Chu Xiu shook his head and finally just said lightly, in short, the scale is not small. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.